evening, yeah. Wrong and oh, late night Adrian. He'll be potty mouthed and everything. He'll be cracking filthy gags, and it's after 10 o'clock. So it's after the watershed. So we get away with it. So so parish notes. Get yourselves in the pews. We're going to need a bigger Battenberg tonight. I already have my my sustenance with a little extra Jaeger power. We'll get to your comments in a moment, but I'm very, 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 very excited for this evening because I'm going to I'm going to give you some insight, and it's going to blow you away. And all I'm going to say is, well, it's dark, and it's after 10 o'clock. So I do believe that I'm going to give you something that I've been working on all day. I've been doing my research, and well, I feel really strongly that what the man, the shadow dwellers, the deep state, the politicos, the parasitical classes want you to do and be is confused. Because the first thing that happens when you're confused is you just go, oh, yeah, Foxtrot Oscar, not interested. Well, tonight, I'm going to give you clarity. I'm not messing about tonight. I'm going to give you clarity. They're not going to be very happy at this. And what I will do is I've written it all out, and I'll give you an executive summary at the end of it. It may take me a little while to deliver it. We'll do it in the first hour at some point, but it is dynamite. There's no mucking about tonight, and those that fear that well, they can just come in after 10 o'clock. It may make their hair curl. So anyway. Good to see you this evening. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk. I hope you've got, well, it might not be alcoholic, but if it is, then feel free, because we are a broad church, a broad Kirk. We don't muck about, and we don't judge, evidently. There's plenty of those wokey, judgy kind of characters hanging around. Terry Wuckford says it's a good age since I was blown. Well, there you go, Terry. Every day's a school day. And I always aim to deliver. Not that, if you know what I mean. That's for all the people that are in jail. Let's get to some of the comments. So Phil the Van says, oh, first again, I hope you lot over the bridge give Labour a right good kick-in today and send the message back to Starmer. Anyone know if the bookies are covering these council elections? They're usually right. Oh. So I obviously I've done my research today, and there's two by-elections, and there's a whole load of councils. I think there's about 1,600 and odd seats up for grabs tonight. So it's going to be lively. 1,600 seats. Well, I never. We are going to need a bigger Battenberg. There's absolutely no doubt. So just remember to take your whoopee cushion into the pews. Make sure you get comfortable. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep pounding on this evening and give you a little bit of entertainment and a little bit of insight. But most of all, the whole program tonight is about clarity, because they're trying to confuse you. I know that sounds really simple, but look, people just go, oh, I'm not buying the newspapers. I can tell when there's some serious stories going on, because I take a wander down to my newspapers every day to buy my newspapers, and literally, I'm so anal. Notice I can use that it is within context, because this is not monetized. So I can say that I literally know which one of the staff is working in the paper shop by how the papers are laid out. I also know by the particular times. Maybe it's me OCD, I'm not sure. But I also know when there's a big story that the newspapers are all sold out by 9 o'clock in the morning. Today they weren't, obviously. They might be tomorrow. So the thing that I want the theatre of the mind to bring you is clarity. It's clarity and understanding. Because there are things going on in this world that I literally burst my incontinence pants laughing at, because everybody else is going, oh, Starmer this and Starmer that, and Starmer absolutely bollocks, mate, because he's being told what to do and what to say and how to say it and where to say it. He's just a meat puppet. That's all that idiot is. And I laugh every time. He's like, he's smiling at the camera. He smiled today. He's got one of the Baldy brothers with him from EastEnders, and he's like, and I thought, Jesus, have they shoved a dildo up his ass or something? He's smiling, that boy, unless he's been given strong coffee. Voting closes in England's local elections, and Runcorn and Helsby by-election. We'll be following the BBC. We'll be as we did with the general election. Hopefully, you'll be my eyes and ears, and I want you to have clarity. I want you to have understanding, but I also want to have a bit of a giggle. Last night's live, you're wrong, completely derailed it. I mean, it was fantastic, and maybe I'll use film scores for another live. It was just fantastic. Excuse me, need sustenance. Hang on. Nectar of the gods. So hang on, let me get rid of that just in case. And I'm going to get into it hard, so to speak. It is after 10 o'clock or as ever. But I'll do a couple of your comments first, because I'm waiting. People are like, bloody hell, is he on at 10 o'clock at night? What the bloody hell's going on? Well, it's just one of those Politico lives that we do. We have a different hue, and I'm not talking Edwards either. We have a different hue to certain lives, the Wednesday and the Sundays at 8 o'clock. If you're new to the live or the channel, please, anyone commenting for the first time in the comments gets their cherry popped. And I must stop saying this evening. So I'm going to go in hard. I'm going to tell thee that, it's all just... Well, how can I say that? In the words of the great Chinese philosopher, it's all bollocks. Because you just laugh. I mean, India and Pakistan, I'm going to tell you something in a minute. It's all bollocks. Russia and Ukraine and America. Oh, man, I've been telling you for nearly a year. And the Houthis, they're getting... so there's certain politicians coming out and saying, they're killing the children in Yemen. Well, I'll have a word with the Houthis. The Houthis are only there because they don't want Israel to have the Ben Gurion Canal, because every ship has got to sail past the Houthis in Yemen. It's all bollocks, man. It's all for show, and I'm going to give you clarity, because there's one thing I'm going to give you tonight. That as well. It's just... Well, I've used Mark Carney and Canada as the example, because you know that eventually Canada and Australia and New Zealand and the UK all kind of do the same thing, because they're all controlled by the same Bond villain in Switzerland, the Austrians. Hello, Klaus. You watching it tonight, mate? Or did they kick you out? What did they kick you out of WEF for? Must have been really serious, because you were going to do a 2-year resignation. So what did they get rid of you for? Was it really just racism, Klaus? White Austrian. Know what Hitler did and where he was from. He was bloody Austrian. Andrew James says there was only choices in my area. Was that no choices, Andrew? No, Labour. We're not the ballot paper. I'm shocked if Reform don't win my local council. I think there's going to be a night of long knives this evening, young Andrew. I think it's going to be, well, it will be the public. You see, the public didn't elect Labour. They unelected the Tories. So now Labour's gone in with their arrogance, their usual arrogance, and they just go, give us a freebie, yeah, I'll take that suit, and the wife will have that dress, and I'll have those theatre tickets, and there's Rachel from accounts, Rachel from complaints, she's been found out, the mucky mare, £22 billion black hole, no, the bloody wonder she's getting free tickets, arse. Did I say that out loud? Tom Harney says, "Hi everyone. There are no elections in my part of the country, so I've been waving a very large Battenberg at passers-by just to see their reactions." Tom, I'm surprised you didn't get arrested. Can you imagine waving your Battenberg about? That's not a euphemism before you start. So welcome to the Body of the Kirk, Tom. Mad Matt UK, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mad Matt. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk. And good evening, Rev, says Mad Matt. Penny Hen. Penny Hen, evening all. Evening, Penny Hen. I see you, says, have I got the wrong time? Oh, that was earlier. Yes, I apologise. Well, I need to start with an apology. Not first, but I created the live earlier today and just wanted to get it done, wanted to get it sorted. And I just press. Oh, yeah, it's there. It's fine. Everybody will see that. And then all of a sudden I get contacted by a dear friend who said, "Here, Rev, what you done, man? Everybody's complaining it's 8 o'clock. I thought, what do you mean 8 o'clock? Why they come? Oh, man. I bet I put the wrong time on the live. So I came into the comments and sure enough, it was 8 o'clock, not 10 o'clock. So I just kind of changed it around. So apologies to everyone. I'm only human. Sometimes I get things wrong. Not that often, you're wrongin'. But it was, I apologise for anyone who got themselves a little bit excited, who thought it might have been an 8 o'clock start. It wasn't, it was 10 o'clock. And because, I mean, some of the news channels are not even starting till 11 o'clock. Oh, dear God. Can I ask a question? Now, I know I've got my sustenance with me hibiscus, with a couple of Jaeger bombs in there. Artistic license, you're wrongin'. So that keeps me going for a couple of hours. How do these BBC presenters and like TV presenters keep going all night? I mean, we know Hugh Edwards like to, but not in that sense. How do they keep going? Is it strong coffee? Is it one of those kind of bulletproof military grade coffees that they have? So I'm not. I completely understand if some people go, "Oh, Rev, I'm a bit shattered tonight, man. I'm gonna have to go to bed." I completely understand. I get it. As long as you watch it again tomorrow. That's why we're putting a whole load of entertainment in for you. Hang on, let me have a. So Soul Rebel, 8 or 10 p.m. Soul Rebel, I've apologised to you, mate, because gubbed up. Cuban Pete, evening. Stuart says, "Evening, Adrian. Thought you were going live at 10. Me too, Stuart. Me too." Yeah, so we'll get past all of that because it's just embarrassing. Andrew James says, "Stuart, we'll have to miss it if it's a late one. If it is a school night. Yes, I know it's a school night, but some of us do work on school nights." Yeah, wrong. Evening all. I thought it was 10 p.m. says Luke. You're correct, Luke. Oh, blimey. The whole world's a critic. I see you says, "Question 1 for yes, 2 for no. Has Adrian made a boo-boo?" Definitely. So let's get to, let's get there. Terry Wookfit, just can't get the staff these days, eh? No, you're wrongin'. And Terry Wookfit says, "Oh, look, screensaver's changed to Darev in the house." I know. I just think it's a better side. It's a better photograph. And the creatives that work on this channel, it's an exceptional photograph. It's probably AI, but exceptional. Les Griffiths, "I got bumped off once. A fat bird bounced me up and down on her knee." Les, I think it was the same ex-girlfriend of mine. I mean, there was one night where, we were at it like rabbits. And I said, "Oh, do you mind if we turn the light off?" She said, "Oh, what's wrong? Are you shy?" I said, "No, it's burning me arse." Andy B says, "Hopefully I can stay awake till 10. It's still 20 degrees in Kent." Blimey, Andy. I mean, I don't know how you can live down there. It's just anywhere south of Leeds is just bloody roasting. So, I mean, I have lived and worked in London before, and the south, and it's just too warm, man. It's too warm. I can't handle it. I prefer it when I lived and worked in Scotland for a while. I preferred it in Scotland because, well, summer was normally one day in June when it didn't rain. The rest of the time it was covered in frost and snow. Loved it. Even the bloody Eskimos want me to go over there and give them some advice on how not to feel the cold. I'm from Sunderland, man. Look, it gets winter. We just put 2 t-shirts on. Jesus, I sound like I'm on something. Cuban Pete says, fair point. He's certainly trying to cover all his bases. Rusty Mouse. G&T at the ready. Hit us with your rhythm stick 8. Oh, another Ian Jury reference. Love it, Rusty Mouse. Rusty Mouse says, Rev 8, babe, you've got to have more than a biscuit to swig tonight with us. You can say that, but I can't possibly comment. Gareth Davis, bring it on. Well, if you insist. Amalia Grassy, evening. All thought it was weird we had no notice of local elections. Apparently, Birmingham are on a different timescale. I don't know. Have they still got black sacks on the streets, Amalia? Feck 'em. I mean, hang on, it's steaming up my glasses, man. But I mean, Birmingham, they've still got black sacks on the street, surely. I mean, I know they were sending the army in, but how long has it taken to clear up the black bin liners? Because obviously, Turkey doesn't want anything to happen this evening and lose any Labour councils, including Birmingham. I don't know whether Birmingham's on standby, are they? Stuart says, since you're live tonight, Rev, I'll binge watch the rest of the show you on Netflix another night. Oh, you're watching You on Netflix. I watched the first 3 series, thought it was quite good, but then it went a bit Hollywood, and they're just extracting money now. So tell me how it goes, Stuart, because I'm not sure about it now. Paulie Galtieri says, Adrian, you're utter wrong'un. How's your day been? I've been doing research, Paulie. I've been doing proper research, journalistic research, and wait till I tell you what it's about. So basically, I'm giving you clarity and understanding so that whatever goes on in the world, you go, oh, yeah. And what I'll do is I'll clip it and I'll leave it as a video. And then if ever you lose any kind of insight, then you can just go and watch it again and go, oh, I say. Marley says, I want to know what we're paying council tax for. To get your bins collected once a fortnight and to send all the councillors on really luxurious Barbadian holidays twice a year and all their expenses and stuff. And what you think? Politics is about the greater good. My hairy backside. Soul Rebel says he's more interested in man, Rev. Oh, I say. The Orbital, and when you play cricket without wearing a jockstrap, you can end up with black sacks. Ouch! I never forget my box. The Orbital, captain of a cricket team. At one point, I never went out on the pitch without me box. That's what it's called, not jock strap, because that's kind of jocks is Scottish. Right, let's get in hard, because I know you're quite keen now while you're still awake. Gene Psychic, so they can keep building more comfy council officers for themselves. Oh, yeah, definitely. Bad Wolf Project says, breaking on Sky News, Mike Walsh to leave Trump post. That was earlier, Bad Wolf Project. It's kind of hit the wires as soon as America got up today. And it's and there's Musk kind of leaving Doge after saving the country billions, and all the country can do is bellyache about how much money he saved them. Are Americans like as thick as pig shit or something? So if it's like nearly $500 billion that he saved, and the interest payment for the American debt is about $1 trillion a year, so he saved them $500 billion by going, what's that for? How many widgets do you need? And who's making that bloody money from the United States Agency for International Development? Exactly. Oh, they're not happy. All the politicos and the parasites and the corrupt, they're not happy at all. He's just made sure that they don't get any more money. So they're kicking and flinging and they're upset and they're like, oh, man. Well, no, because you thieved the money from American taxpayers. And all I will say is, should we have a Doge in this country? Can you imagine what we would find? So tonight we're going to talk about politics and cops and a bit of showbiz and a bit of royal family. But first I want to get this notion that the world is going to nuclear war. Because Pakistani, and are you aware that word, the etymology of the word, actually Stan means land. Stan means land of the Paki. That's not being racist. That's the etymology of the word. Understand this. Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan. The Stan means land of, the tribe of the Pakis. So it can't be racist at all. If you have an education, you can tell the ignorant to go and foxtrot Oscar. So there you go. A little insight. Because Pakistan is named after the tribe of, the land of is Stan. And that's why all the lands around them, apart from India, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Pakistan, they're all the land of these particular tribes. Did we find who shot JR? Andrew, I won't spoil it. Soul Rebel, you're wrong. Tower Block Tracy, English FA will ban transgender women from women's football for the next season. No more 45-minute periods and no more tackling in the box. Tower Block Tracy, you're always a one. Let me just... I'm just doing this. So, Pakistan, remember the other day, they said, we're not happy, and I'm going to quote this, we have credible intelligence. I'll quote that again to you. Credible intelligence that India is planning an imminent military strike within the next 24 to 36 hours. Islamabad's claim came after the Delhi accused its neighbour of supporting militants who killed 26 tourists in Kashmir last week. So the tribe of, from the Stan, the land of, the Pakistanis came out and went, we've got credible intelligence that... there's going to be imminent military strike within the next 24 to 36 hours. 48 hours later, nothing. Nix nada. Nothing. They're just making it up as they go along. Have you seen there the border crossing where the guards just kind of mince about with pom-poms on their socks, on their slippers, and they kind of just dance about. I thought, do you know, if it kicks off, they've seemingly got these blokes to fight other blokes to the death. That's never going to happen in those slippers. I'll quote it again. Pakistan said it had credible intelligence. They're making it up, man. It's all a distraction. It's all made up. So Mark Carney has become Canada's Prime Minister. He led the Liberal Party to electoral victory. Oh, I say, that wasn't rigged at all, was it? Because 100 days out from the election, the Conservatives had a 23-point lead. How does that happen then? Anybody? How can you be 23 points behind the incoming party and all of a sudden Canada votes for the same party that's shafting them left, right and centre? Oh, I'm going to give you a hell of an insight later. Darren Bradbury says, it's India. Do we really have to remove the line for them to work it out? I don't think they've got any credible intelligence. I mean, if you look at that little Indian from Southampton that was head of this country for a little while, I mean, he made a few bob. He's not that daft. But at war, is he Churchill? No. Is he bollocks? Darren Bradbury, Pierre won. Mark Carney's in charge. He's the Prime Minister. He can do whatever he wants. And he is. And I'm going to tell you what he's going to do. Les Griffiths. Carney probably had dominion over the rivals. Oh, what can I say? Former head of the Bank of England. How does that work then? Well, if you look at the 4 centres of power on the planet, not India and Pakistan. No, don't be silly. Why do you think we had the Raj? That's not the Raj. That's the Raj. And it is Vatican City, independent state. Switzerland, got all the money. The square mile in London, they've got the gold. And then Washington, D.C. They're the four power epicentres. Whatever happened to the gold in Fort Knox? Just asking for a mate. Dan Bradbury says, Carney didn't win, Trump did. I know. 5D, 5-dimensional chess, that boy. He's a genius. English Bottle Cap says, we have a Raj government. We do, but I think they're going to get the message tonight. So, Rebel, it's bloody funny, though, Terry. Oh, what's Terry said now? Swift Removal said, I saw your message re-voting earlier today. What's the results like from voting today? Don't know. We'll get those. Let's just have a... Oh, that's... yes. Let's have a look at some of the headlines. If the... That's interesting. Somewhere's getting bombed. That's the BBC. No, let's not go there. Let's go there. And let's see if they've got Friday's papers. Oh, here we go. So we'll have a look at tomorrow's headlines today, because we're clever like that. And then I'm going to go to, I don't know whether you've seen it. It's a Channel 4 documentary that was aired last night. And it's called Groomed, a National Scandal. And every which way, real journalism is wanting this story out in the light of scrutiny, not in the shadows. But I'm going to give you this. I mean, I know I'm teasing you like an old tart. But I will tell you that what I am going to tell you this evening will make sense. I've already told you about the Ben Gurion Canal and the oil and gas under the East Mediterranean Sea and under Gaza. I've told you about Crimea and the oil and gas under Crimea that Putin wants, and the deal's been done today. We'll get to that a little bit later. Seemingly, they've agreed stuff, and I'm going to give you the detail of the stuff that they've agreed. I've told you many things over the past couple of years that have cut through the confusion, or the fog of war, if you wish. I told you about the 5 or 6 countries left that the Rothschild central banking system doesn't have control of, and they want control of it. And I told you to keep an eye on these countries. I told you Venezuela. Oh, I say, Venezuela, aren't they in the news? I told you about Syria. They had the ship bombed down at them. I told you about Iraq. Ooh, are they? And Iran. So, hang on. Venezuela, Hungary, they're always in the news. Iran, North Korea. North Korea's in the news this week because, well, Jing Jong-poo wants to do a deal. He wants a deal. I'll have a 69 with fried rice, please. And there's a couple of big countries that the Rothschild's banking system doesn't have control of. Oh, let's have a think. One's China. China. I wonder what Trump's doing. China. On behalf of who? China. How can they take billions of Chinese on in like hand-to-hand combat? But they need to get hold of the Chinese central banking system to control the world. And what's the last one? It's not the UK. They already own our asses. It's Russia. So Putin, I'm not quite sure how long he's going to live for, but that boy is putting Russia first and the Russian people first. Oh, and there's Trump putting the Americans first, putting America first, and literally eviscerating everybody else. Here, everybody else around the world, you can go and Foxtrot Oscar. No. We're putting tariffs on everything because we're sick and tired of you ripping the bloody Americans off. So it's all been said and done, but you have to watch these 5 or 6 countries where the Rothschilds need the banking system under their wing. Venezuela, Hungary, Iran, North Korea, China, Russia, and look at what's in the news at the moment. And Starmer's not saying to you, is he? Lads, I've got it. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got it. Don't worry, we know what we're doing. It's the WEF playbook. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. So headlines for tomorrow, Friday, not Thursday. Chemists to give out weight loss injections. They're going to give it in a pill soon. So the chemists can just go, oi, Tubby, how much do you need to lose? Well, a fair bit. All right, then, take this. It's a nice injection. Don't have to get your husband to inject you. And it seems like, look, I know I'm being facetious, but some people are very reliant on these weight loss injections, whether it's Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. It's massive business now. We're talking billions, if not trillions in business. Big pharma's like, oh, I say, will help the people get the weight off. But the thing is, Ozempic, It hardens your heart. Now, I don't know whether you're on any of these injections, but and I don't mean to frighten you if you are, because we don't judge on this show, on this channel. We don't judge, but it's gone to the millionaires and the billionaires in America. So, have you seen the very rich people who look emaciated, who look like incredibly, incredibly thin? That's because they're taking the weight loss, and they don't need to lose any weight because they're bloody. You can see their ribs sticking out. But there's Oprah, bit of a fat lass in her time, always had problems with her weight, but don't know whether she was, but she looks pretty slim now. So again, headlines. So chemists just walk into Boots or walk into Tesco's chemist and go, "Hey, can I have one of those fat jabs?" Yes, of course, sir. I'm looking at you. I think you may need it. Well, thanks very much, mate. I came in here. I was nice to you. Yeah, fat lad. Now that we've got Tony Blair on the board of WEF, in the Daily Mail, it's obviously an opinion piece, but Miliband and Rayner unite to save net zero. Oh, yeah, man. How do we end shite? They're muppets. They are literally Ginger Growler and Millipede. They're muppets. They're being told what to say, how to say it, and where and when. Ed Millipede, he thinks he's going to be the next Prime Minister. Oh, man, here. I've defecated more intelligent stuff than that, man. And he wants to block out the sun and then put solar panels, cut the trees down, put solar panels in. And everybody's saying to him, "Oi, Fico, what would you block the sun out for to put solar panels out in forests?" Because I'm Ed Millipede. I can do whatever I want. I'll even play my ukulele under one of those electricity pylons. That's not the kind of pylon he needs. Headline: Police ethnic minority bias exposed. You don't say. No shit, Sherlock. And Trump acts as security chief over Signalgate. Because they're all just texting each other, and it's not even. I mean, it's America. Why don't they not have just standard phones where they're using WhatsApp? Because remember, it's Facebook and Meta. So Zuckerberg, he's he knows what's going on in the world. No wonder he's building this bunker in Hawaii. That's because his missus is from there, isn't she? What was I going to say? Yeah, can I ask you a question? I was going to do a video on this, but I can do it now. I'm not a daft lad with a crap memory. I'm just a daft lad with a pretty good memory. Can you remember Elon? Maybe that's why he's leaving Doge. Maybe that's why he's leaving the American government. Can you remember when Elon Musk went, let's get it on, Zuckerberg. Why don't we do MMA fighting? Me versus you. Why can't we have Twitter, X versus Facebook? Yeah, let's get it on in the octagon. Let's have a fight. And it was bouncing around in the media. And then Zuckerberg says, let's do it. And then Musk went, name the time and the place. Yeah, I'll be ready. And then, can you not see we're being played? Can you not see that it's like one of those really weird military-industrial complex, just a joke, really? They're going, we'll have the two richest men in the world in an MMA cage and have a fight. And then, of course, we were never going to. It was just a distraction. Ed Millipede, he's just a bloody distraction, that man. And Ginger Growler, she wears red shoes with a green dress. Don't, my eyes. Front of the Daily Mail in the morning, NHS fat jabs at the pharmacy. I'm off to Boots. Patients to get weight loss drugs on prescription from chemists without seeing a doctor in a plan to tackle obesity. So look, it's basic sales technique. What they're doing is they create the need and then they fulfill it. So since the 80s, we've been told, shove it down your throat, mate. Sugars, carbs, which turn into sugars. So you need baked potatoes and you need rice and you need pasta. And everybody just went, look at America. They don't even eat food in America. It's not food. It's just chemicals. And the Americans love it. Bless them. Lard arses. So now we have so we have Big Pharma, because they made a few bob with Charlie 19. Still can't say that word. Not that I don't want to. It's just that I'll end up getting my derriere spanked. Frank Boff paid good money for that. So we've got blimey, I'm a bit warm now. So we've got Big Pharma going, right, lads. What are we going to do now? So the jibber jabber, we can't give them the jibber jabber because it's causing autism and it's causing this. And oh my God, Trump's come out with RFK Jr. and said, yeah, we're not giving the jibber jabber to kids. They don't need it, and it causes autism. I'll take their word for it. So Big Pharma's gone, so what can we do now? Well, for 40 odd years, nearly 50 years, we've been telling people to eat stuff that's going to make them fat. Ooh. Create the need, fulfill it. What we're going to do? Well, we've got these jabs, jibber jabbers. What we'll do is we'll get the Americans so fat they can't move around. I mean, they literally need their own postcode, some of these Americans. And what they've done in this country, and I'm sure America is ahead of the game, they're just getting everybody to buy it from Boots. Can I have 5 Ozempic and 2 Wegovy, please? I'll get the kids on it. You don't mind, do you? No. You get it at the chemist. Jesus, I'll have 3 ribbed and 2 extra large and 3 months worth of Wegovy, please, Your Honour. Mind you. No, Adrian, stop that. That's too far. Honestly, I've just thought of this cracking gag. I'll end up with my head chopped off. So you go down to the chemist, you buy all your condoms and your stuff, and you'll take your Wegovy for the month. Who knew? And there's the headlines coming out saying, right, everybody's got to start shagging. Everybody's got to start knocking the kids out. We've got to double. There's 8 billion of us, seemingly. It's not enough. We've got to double because if we don't have kids, then there's going to be a population implosion. So we've all got to start shagging. Form a queue. So NHS fat jabs at the pharmacy is the main headline in the Daily Mail in the morning. Oh, let's have a look at this. Oh, I say. Look at this. It's the Times, everyone. It's the Times. They're obviously, you can trust them. They're the Times. Still get bought off by the government. Trump acts as aide who invited journalists to airstrike group chat. Oh, dear Lord. I bet that took them all of 10 minutes to write. Harrods hit in spree of cyber attacks on UK shops. I mean, it's not like they're going to kill the high street. It's already dead as a dodo. Have they brought the dodo back? A bank forecasts fastest fall in interest rates since 2009. That's the headline on the Times in the morning. I want you to remember this. So I'm going to say it again. Banks forecast fastest fall in interest rates since 2009. That was the crash of 2008. Banks forecast fastest fall in interest rates since 2009. I'm going to tell you why that is, why you need to remember that, because it's important. Guardian revealed British banks put 75 billion into firms behind carbon bombs. They've got the one thing that I was very disappointed in today when I went to my polling station. You know, on polling day, we normally have dogs at polling stations on social media. And I thought, oh yeah, I'll go and stroke a growler while I go to the polling station. And I got there and there was no growlers. There was no dogs. There was no dogs. I was like, oh. Other headline on the Guardian. It's no sign of end to Gaza blockade and food is running out. Here, lads, man. Let me just tell you what's going on. It's Netanyahu. I've been telling you for 2 years. Netanyahu, and there's some contenders for this title, is the evilest man on the planet. He won't leave the prime ministerialship, the head honcho in Israel, because when he does, he's going to have his ass hauled into court and go to jail. That's why he won't give it up. That's why he's not going to stop with a war. He's saying, oh, yeah, well, give us the hostages back. How many bloody hostages did the Gazans take? Oh, let's have a guess, shall we? I'm not doing all the heavy lifting for you. They didn't. So there's no sign of end to Gaza blockade and food is running out. Correct. That's why they're doing it, because Netanyahu wants to stay as a war prime minister of Israel. He stays in power. He stays in office. He don't end up in court. I mean, am I talking Swahili here? Don't you get it? You stop commenting. US National Security Advisor, leave post. Fox for Oscar. Trump set to restore arms shipments to Ukraine. Oh, I say, have we got an agreement? I'm going to tell you about that in just a little while. But these banks, the British banks, I mean, they're talking about Ozzy Osbourne on the front page of the Guardian. Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne on the front of the Guardian. What's he doing on there? Same as Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Rock and rolls. I'm sure they're being funny in some way, shape, or form. And on the hottest May day ever, can you see what they're doing? Can you see what they're doing? They're frightening you. Because when they put, when I was I survived the summer of 1975, and that was a proper Betty Swallock summer. Let me tell you, if you're not old enough to remember, I am. And it was bloody wham. I mean, even Wimbledon had brown grass. There's a joke there. I'll let you do it. But they're now saying, you know, when they show you the weather map, it used to be just green, and it used to be that, well, it's British summer. It can get to 30 degrees. 1976. Well, my summer must have run on into 1976 then. Either way, you pedants, it's the hottest summer on record ever. 1976. So, honestly, all the world's a bloody critic. So I managed to get through the hottest summer in the world ever in the 70s. Yeah, wrong uns. But now, with the weather map, it's like, it's not green and pleasant with a bit of sunshine. It's like deep, deep red. We're all going to die. It's going to be heat stroke. We're going to frazzle up and the gingers are getting it first. Oh, you're all going to die, you bunch of wrong uns. Exactly. It was bloody lovely, some people say. If my eyes are working. Oh, Soul Rebel. Or was it Super Ted? I look at these idiots on the BBC, and other channels are available for the same price. They go, oh, we're all going to die. Well, metaphorically, they put really deep red colours as if the sun is going to frazzle us on Earth. Yet, what was it, about 11,500 years ago? It was 2 degrees warmer around the globe than it is now. So they can cough. Bunch of arses. So, on the hottest May day ever, Hadaway shite, man. It should read, on the hottest May day on record, and the records have only been going back a couple of 100 years. Honestly, it just grinds my teeth. It just grinds my gears, these. Because I can see it's fear porn. That's all they're doing here. Fear porn, man. They're making you afraid. Be afraid. Be very afraid. We're going to make these things on the back of some female, normally. Yes, we're going to colour it in and make it seem as if we're all going to die. Well, we are. I hate to tell them, we are, eventually. But just, give us a few weeks and months and years before we shuffle off this mortal coil, because we just want to enjoy ourselves and be happy. Be happy. We're not going to have fear porn. We don't want you to tell us that we're all going to die on the hottest May day ever. Fuck off. Who said that? Couldn't see me next 5. Front of the Independent, Farage fear factor. Oh, we're getting into it now, because the politicos, the parasitical classes, they're all at it, mate. At it. I was nearly going to do a really good Starmer gag there, but I better not. Farage fear factor, parties braced for right-wing wipeout. Hey? Early poll indicators show huge gains for Nigel Farage's Reform UK at expense of Labour and Tories, as 1,600 seats are contested in 23 councils and by-election upset beckons in Runcorn and Helsby. I can't wait. I can't wait for the some of the stats to come in, some of the results, and I would imagine that the first result's going to be about 11:30, 12:15. It's normally Sunderland or Newcastle. It's always the bloody Geordies and the Barcodes, the Skunks, and Sunderland. But you never knew we called them Barcodes. You should hear what we call them, really. Duncan Ferguson on the front of the Daily Mirror. Yeah, fuck, I take that. I'm going to score another goal. Dull. Tragic Virginia Giuffre. It could have been any one of us. What are you saying? Second Prince Andrew accuser says she's lucky not to suffer the same fate. I thought she'd committed suicide. Virginia Giuffre? The press? You know, the propagandists, the propaganda peddlers who didn't tell you the truth for 5 years about Charlie 19 and the jibber jabber and the lockdowns. Why were you reading this shit? Don't even wipe your backside with that, because it'll cause skid marks and everything. It's not, you can't even cut it up into squares. It's not worthwhile. It's shit, man. So Virginia Giuffre, according to the press, committed suicide. According to her dad, she didn't. And now the others that Nonce Andrew has been diddling with, she's come out and says, I could have suffered the same fate. What, suicide? Or is it the Dr. David Kelly playbook? You know what I'm saying without saying it. Duncan Ferguson's probably flogging something anyway. Don't read the Daily Mirror, it's shit. Times, The Guardian, the Daily Telegraph, the Daily Mail. Who have we got left? We've done the Independent. So Labour, I have to tell you, the Labour Party on X today was absolutely comedy gold. I'm not a, no, but I have been posting some stuff on X. But the Labour Party are like, oh, we're fantastic, we're brilliant, us, and we're sorting everything out. And there's Sir Keir Starmer in the chamber yesterday at PMQ saying, we're going to smash the gangs. Oh, you mucky tart. What, from behind? Bend them over the dinghy, you mucky tart. He's not going to smash the gangs. He's not. Because I'm going to tell you why they're not smashing the gangs. Because there is an answer. Everybody has missed it. Everybody. Not one single YouTube channel is going to give you what I'm about to give you tonight. They're not. Because this is actually very dangerous. When you start giving answers to people who then are not confused and then have clarity, I'll have blokes in bloody sunglasses during the night knocking on my front door. You know what they can do, don't you? Foxtrot Oscar. So, the I paper, I in the northeast, it has a completely different meaning. UK care worker visa crackdown as Labour tries to stop vanishing migration scam. Oh, I say, have they worked out that there's buggers coming into this country and they're taking money? Why would they do that? Answers coming on a postcard. So the I paper, hottest May day for 35 years. So can you see? The front of the Daily Mail, hottest May day ever. And then the I, which is a little more accurate, you know, about the Daily Mail, the I paper is saying it's the hottest May day for 35 years. Actually, that must have been hotter in May in 1976. Thank you for the correction. It must have been the hottest May day in 1976 than it is now, and we survived it. We survived it with aplomb. We survived it, and we used to put ice in the freezer and suck on it. The ice, you mucky tart. So the jubblies and the ice lollies and all that kind of stuff, it got us through 1976. And it's not like we don't know. It's just, I think most people can take and love a bit of sunshine and a bit of heat during the day. It's when the nights are warm that it's just a little bit too much. And at the moment, I'm from Sunderland. If it goes anywhere above freezing, then it's too warm. You think I'm joking? So the eye paper, and then the Metro, and that's not that train service in Newcastle. The Metro newspaper says 28 degrees C record as eye passengers stuck. Oh, I say, when the Japanese gonna buy the what do they call it now? Hang on a second, I can't even read that. The London Eye. Yeah, they were going to call it the London Eye. I know there was some Japanese businessmen who were looking to buy, before it became the London Eye, they wanted to buy it, but eventually went to British Airways. And the Japanese were very upset because, honestly, that in itself would have been the world's biggest Jap's eye. But they call it the London Eye now. Don't encourage me. You, if only you knew what was going through my mind. Honestly. So hottest, this is the headline on the front of the Metro. Hottest May of the years. It's not. The Eye's just told us 35 years. I've just told you 76 was hotter than this. Jesus, we were melting in 1976. Thank you for the correction. Any more? Daily Express. Oh, dear God, they've got one of the bloody royals on the front of the Daily Express. Princess Charlotte. And she's still got all of her teeth. She has inner strength like our beloved late Queen. Oh, can you see what they're doing now? They're aligning the kids with our beloved Queen Elizabeth II. Because she was revered, to be fair. Charles the Weak. Oh, dear Lord. Call himself a monarch. Not in my house, we don't. 29. So, the newspapers that can't actually get anything right in their reportage other than the price on the front. They'll never get that bloody wrong, let me tell you. So we've had 28 degrees C on the front of the Metro, I think it was. And now on the front of the Daily Express, they said it was 29 degrees Celsius. Hadaway and shite. Britain sizzles in May scorcher. We'll all, is it a bank holiday weekend this coming weekend? We'll all just flock to the sea. That's what we do. We're one of those races. We're one of those tribes that go, bugger me, it's warm. Let's go to the coast. I mean, in my upbringing, it was literally on the hottest day. You couldn't stay at home with all the windows open. This is before we had central heating. You kind of go, oh, no, can't stay here. Let's go to the coast. Let's go and dip our toes in the sea. There's plenty of sea. It won't evaporate in the sunshine. And we'd go down there and we'd take our tops off and, show our muscles off and our nipples. That's just the lads. And we'd bathe in the sea until all the effluent started coming out in Sunderland. Yes, it's the story of summer. But the main headline on the front of the Daily Express, because I digress, is Our Heroes Can Honour Fallen Friends. Express campaign wins veterans free travel for memorial trips overseas. Why would we need newspapers to actually start a campaign so that our heroes can go to Ypres and all the other places where the heroes and the fallen heroes are now buried? That should be... You see, if Starmer had a PR man, I would say to Sakia, here, you need to keep Lord Ali out at number 10. And while you're on, just get the veterans, just fly them over there for now and be there when they get to whichever beach they landed on. And Financial Times, we've got another couple. Local polls, reform tail up in elections. They've got their danders up like a baby's arm with an orange in it. Trump ditches Waltz after mega Roth bills against National Security Advisor. You think? No. McDonald's sales plunge as tariff-wary Americans flip to home-cooked burgers. Now, I'm going to remind you of this because I'm about to deliver something to you that is important. I know I can be flippant and be facetious at times. I will get to some of your comments in a moment. But McDonald's sales plunge as tariff-wary Americans flip to home-cooked burgers. Things getting too expensive, are they? In the US of A. You're going to need to keep that in your head. And one final, then I think that's all the newspapers for... that's it. That's all. We've Duncan Ferguson on the front of the Daily Mirror, and honestly, for stuff for the channel, I buy the Daily Mirror every day, and they virtually double the price on a weekend, and you just think, this is just left wing shite. This is just the Morning Star, Morning Glory, if you ask me. Right, we'll do that. Let's have a look and see what the BBC are doing. They're talking headlines. Nuclear talks between Iran and the United States are postponed. What did I tell you a little while ago about Iran? Just keep an eye on it. Zelensky says resources deal is result of Trump Vatican visit. And one more, US National Security Advisor Mike Waltz becomes US Ambassador to UN. It's 5D chess, Your Honour. Mark Rubio will serve as interim National Security Advisor. Thank you, BBC. And let's have a look at that. No. So let's get back to your comments. Ray Norton. 8. Read something from the Daily Sport. It wasn't there. I mean, I would have done. The Daily Sport have been saying that it's just hot and sweaty and showing people with shades and hats on. Waltz is now UN Ambassador. Les Griffiths, thank you. You were in there before the press. The All Bovril, the Morning Star, Soul Rebel, usually Keyhole Amalia, 4 small wounds. Who? Wow, say, Amalia, I'll get to some of your comments in just a little while, but I want to do this now. And for those people that came to watch the live and we're an hour in, I'm now going to give you something that I will make a video of this tomorrow, because this is the most important thing you have heard today, this week, this month. It is what I call a playbook. And the playbook, I've got like an executive summary at the end of it. And I need this to read it. Now, you can comment if you wish, and I will get to it if I can. But Mark Carney, and this is important, Mark Carney has led Canada's Liberal Party to electoral victory, overturning a 23-point lead held by the Conservatives just 3 months ago. So they went into this election 100 points behind the Conservatives. Why am I telling you that? Because Mark Carney is a WEF puppet. He's one of the golden boys, golden children of the WEF. But I am going to give you what is the answer to everything that's going on in this country. Everything. It's called the Clovered Piven, P-I-V-E-N, strategy. The Clovered, that's with a W. Well, obviously I'm going to have an Austrian accent, so I'd say the Clovered Piven strategy. So, what is unfolding in Canada is not politics. It's not reform either, if you look at Trudeau and what he did to Canada. It is a hostile takeover by global forces. Don't worry, Biden might be shitting his pants and having an ice cream and not really all there, but trust me, the globalists are not giving up the fight. So these global forces are have started a hostile takeover of Canada using one of the most sophisticated and destructive plans ever devised to collapse a free society from within. So I want you, everything that I'm going to say to you now, I want you to apply to this country. The plan is referred to as the Cloward, maybe Cloward, C-L-O-W-A-R-D Piven, Piven strategy. And the man that the globalists have chosen to complete this agenda in Canada is Mark Carney. And who do you think they have chosen to start this plan and possibly finish this plan in the United Kingdom? Correct. Two-tier Kia. Mark Carney he's now the Prime Minister, but he was selected. They got rid of Trudeau, and not quite sure why he had to leave, but he did. And now Mark Carney has been put in place. Now, Mark Carney's loyalty is not to the Canadian people. It is to the World Economic Forum, or WEF, the WEF, if you will, the United Nations. Can you see why Donald Trump has put his American boy in the UN today? So Mark Carney is a bank for international settlements and other unelected global institutions that aim to erase national sovereignty and individual freedom. You already know that. Look at Charles the Weak, who he invited into St. George's Chapel at Windsor. So the Cloward-Piven strategy in definition. So I'll give you some insight into exactly what it is. The strategy aims to utilise militant anti-poverty groups to facilitate a political crisis by overloading the welfare system via an increase in welfare claims, forcing the creation of a system of guaranteed minimum income and redistributing income through the federal government. I'm going to read that to you again. These NGOs want to facilitate a political crisis by overloading the welfare system via an increase in welfare claims, forcing the creation of a system of guaranteed minimum income and redistributing income through the federal government. Stakeholder capitalism, baby. Or, if you wish, the Chinese Communist Party system, baby. So in 1966, Columbia University professors Richard Cloward, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Francis Fox Piven developed an 8-point strategy to collapse a free nation from within intentionally. Now, you couldn't work out why they were letting all these illegals in. You couldn't work out why it looked like the Labour government were literally collapsing the country by design. Well, now you're getting to know. Their idea was to overwhelm the system through massive economic and social destabilisation so that the citizens, me and you, would beg for authoritarian control in exchange for survival. This strategy has now been adapted and weaponised by global financial elites and is being applied to Canada via Mark Carney right now. Unfortunately, most liberals are too thick to see it. And there are so many people in this country. Gene Psychic says, you'll own nothing and be happy. But I am breaking this down with insights into each point. And then I'm going to give you an executive summary at the end of it with the 8 points, if you will. Even if you've never heard of the Cloward-Piven strategy, it doesn't matter. It is already being implemented for you. You are not imagining the chaos. It is designed to demoralize you. It's designed to confuse you. It's designed to not give you any clarity. It's there just to confuse you and to make you submit. Mark Carney is the chosen executor. I'm going to give you 8 points of the Cloward-Piven strategy, along with concrete actions Carney has taken to implement each one. So point number 1, Gene Psychic says we're so enslaved. I know, but by giving you the insight and giving you the clarity, without the chaos and the confusion. It means that you can take steps for you, your family, your community to avoid this. Because I've watched Star Trek and Captain Kirk always wins. So there must be something for we humans to get out of this enslavement. So point number 1 in the Cloward Piven strategy, overload and bankrupt the welfare system. Now in 2020, during Charlie 19 and the lockdowns, Carney publicly supported massive government stimulus spending, including the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, or we had eat out to stay out, or eat out to support something or other, and just spend your money. Don't care, just spend your money. And by the way, while I'm at it, says Cockite, he says, yeah, we're going to supplement everybody. I'll help 80% of your wages. I'll help you. So overload and bankrupt the welfare system. Is that what little rich boy, Cockite did? Wait till I tell you about the illegal immigrants, what their purpose is. So in 2020, Carney publicly supported this massive government stimulus. It gave more than 8 million Canadians free money with no strings attached. Similar to here, similar to around the world, similar to everywhere. This program cost over 81 billion Canadian dollars. Carney, in July 2020, in a 2020 speech at the London School of Economics, LSE for short, called these types of stimulus packages essential tools for transition. Are we transitioning? And praised the role of public finance in accelerating the shift to stakeholder capitalism. What did I tell you? It's in his book, Klaus. It's stakeholder capitalism. But what they're going to do is they are going to overload and bankrupt the welfare system. They've already told you they're missing £22 billion. Got a black hole. I'm sure she has. Does she diet? Must be grey by now. So the Canadian Charlie 19 lockdowns were not about public health. They were all about creating permanent dependency. The more individuals rely on government support, the more control the government has. You getting the game now? Canada's debt has now reached more than $1.5 trillion. Not far away from what we have in this country. The system is being driven towards bankruptcy by design. Point 2, they're going to raise the cost of living until survival becomes the only focus. I'll say that to you again. They're going to raise the cost of living until survival becomes the only focus. Are you getting it now? My water bill. We've just been told by the water company, your water price is going to increase by 50%. Look at the utilities. Look at the electric and the gas and the water. Look at what they're doing to you. Maybe you're middle class, maybe you're not. Maybe you have a few bob, maybe you definitely don't have now. Everything's going up. Everything. But it's always been thus. But in this case, they're driving the ruination of this sceptred isle of the United Kingdom, the Great Britain, England. They're driving it to destruction for a reason, and I'm telling you what that reason is. They want to raise the cost of living until survival is the only focus. So in February 2021, Carney co-authored a report for the Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero. You getting it? Where he pushed for removing capital from carbon-based industries and redirecting it into climate-compliant investments. Net zero. No wonder Ed Millipede is wanting to ruin this country. Hang on a second. What has happened? I think you can still get me, but yeah, it's there. Hang on. Yeah, 2 seconds. I thought it was lagging. Let me make sure yes, they are. Ronald McDonald, hand rubbing intensifies. You monkey tart. So the direct outcome of this, point 2, has been a reduction in oil and gas supply, spiking prices across the board. Even OPEC want Have you looked at the price at the pump recently? It went from, in lockdown, it went from 80 odd p up to £2. It's back down to 130 odd, where it's balancing out. And the reason why it's stabilizing there is because they're making 50p a litre more than during lockdown. That's over a 50% price hike. In July 22, Carney's climate agenda began affecting Canadian energy producers when major banks stopped issuing loans to oil and gas firms unless they complied with net zero targets. Can you see? The people that control the money, they control everything. So we now know net zero has been around for quite a long while, and everybody connected with the WEF, because I'm sure Millipede's been out there, Ginger Growler's definitely been out there, as has Rachel from Accounts been out there, as has Starmer the Harmer. He's always out there being wined and dined. So with fuel prices soaring, Canadians now face historic inflation. Food banks across the country report record demand. In Canada, the cost of groceries has increased from March 2020 to March 2025, approximately 30.2% in total. So from 2020 to 25, and we're using Canada as the example, food prices have gone up 30% in 5 years. Carney knows these policies crush the middle class. That's what they're after. The lower classes don't care. They're on benefits. They are easily controlled. And the wealthy, well, they're wealthy, not rich. There's a difference between rich and wealthy. And the wealthy, you can't really touch them, but will kill off the middle classes. See, that is the point. When individuals struggle to feed their families or fill their petrol tanks, they stop resisting. So they'll bludgeon you into submission. But the reason for me telling you this is clarity. It's going to stop the confusion. It's going to stop the chaos. And I'm cutting through the fog of war to protect you, your family, and your community. Point 3. Defund and destabilise law enforcement. Can you see what's going on at the moment? The Chris Carver case, the cop's been cleared. But now the police force are saying, we might have to sack you. For what? He's been cleared in a court of law. So you know that all of the other cops are going to turn around and go, right, don't worry, there's my ticket. I'm not a firearms officer anymore. You can get the army in. Get the army on the streets. I'll give you point 3 again. Defund and destabilise law enforcement. Look at all this woke shite that the police are doing now. They're not investigating crimes. They're not chasing criminals. They're getting people for memes and posts on social media. They're turning the public against the police. That's why they're doing it. And I've got some stats that I'm going to give you a little later. Jackie Glasgow, Paul Thorpe has given up resisting. There you go. If the hammer's big enough, you'll soon stop. So, in 2020, just days after the death of George Floyd in the US, Carney wrote an op-ed in the Globe and Mail endorsing social movements that called for defunding the police. In that article, he promoted the idea that institutions need to be reformed to serve, and I quote, social justice, rather than law and order. So I've said to you that the barristers and the lawyers, they need a moral vacuum to make money. That's all it's about. Look, being in the legal industry, it's not about doing right or good or upholding the law. It's making money. That's all they're after, making money. I mean, they use their personalities, as you can see from Sir Keir Starmer, use their personalities as contraception. In my view. So, Carney's exact words were that the economy must become more inclusive. Can you see what I'm saying to you? All the dinghy divers, everybody that's coming across from Albania, everybody that's coming across from France, all the illegals. The economy must become more inclusive and must reflect new social priorities. This is the playbook. And I'm giving it to you now because this is coming in this country. As sure as eggs are eggs. New Zealand, Australia, Canada, UK. It's the WEF playbook. The U-Bottle, yes, I will. Yes, I will. But I will... I'm going to give you the executive summary. I'm then going to make another video because this has got interruptions in it. But I'll make another video. And yes, with both videos, with this live and with the video that I'll make tomorrow, I will make sure that you understand the 8 or 9 points that I'm going to make this evening. And they will be listed there for you. Let's see if the video is taken down. So in Canada, this narrative has led to police budget reductions in major cities, including Toronto, Montreal and Vancouver. Mind you, I've smelt the weed in Vancouver. They're all off the tits, so they wouldn't care. The result, because it's legal in Vancouver. That's the next step in this country. They'll come up with some excuse and they'll go, yes, we're going to make cannabis legal. The government will sell you it. They want everybody on it. They want everybody without clarity of thought. They want confusion. They want chaos because then you become more compliant. So the result has been a significant rise in violent crime. Carjackings, open drug use. As cities become less safe, public demand increases for technological surveillance, biometric security and government monitoring. Remember back in the 70s and 80s, we were like, oh, we're going to get CCTV. Yeah, the CCTV, that'll stop all the criminals. It'll make our streets more safe. And then all of a sudden you find that, well, the CCTV isn't working. Or CCTV at, I don't know, say supermarket car park when you get your car nicked. No, the CCTV's not working. More often than not, the CCTV ain't working. So now what they want from you is, look at London, for example, and or Manchester maybe, but the major conurbations in England and Edinburgh and Glasgow and Cardiff and Belfast, the major conurbations in the UK, it's becoming less and less safe. People are more worried about what goes on the streets because they just feel more threatened. London especially, the knife crime in London. You've got all these superstars going, oh, no, moving out of London. No, knife crime, it's awful. I'm just going to have to move out of London. So what they're doing is they ramp up the crime, make you feel more fearful. As I say, fear porn, it's everywhere to make you scared. And then what they do, the public demands increases for tech surveillance, biometric security and government monitoring. So people give up their freedoms. Why? Because they're more scared. And your government loves you. Go back to sleep. Your government loves you. X Factor will be along soon. Carney has supported the digital ID infrastructure that will replace traditional policing with algorithmic control. What have I been telling you? Individual digital identifiers out of Tony, Charles Lyndon Blair's gob. And Tony Blair wants the contract to run it. I mean, it's bad enough if you're trying to get on public transport and you kind of tap your card. They know where you're going. In London, you've got to buy an Oyster card to tap through the barriers. They know who you are, where you're going and what you're doing. And then they'll have digital IDs. You know something? That if you don't have a digital ID, you won't be able to travel. If you have a digital ID, they might decide to stop you from travelling. It's all about getting you by the bollocks. And nobody's resisting this. It's not the 1100s when we had the peasants revolting. It's not that at all. They're doing it without you knowing. They're doing it without you seeing. And I keep telling you, and I'll reiterate this until I'm blue in the face. Watch New Zealand, watch Australia, watch Canada, because whatever's going on in those countries, it's coming here next. Just bend me over, for fuck's sake. 4.4. Controlled education to indoctrinate the next generation. I'll say that to you again. You know what's going on in the schools. You know what's happening in our education. Control education to indoctrinate the next generation. So in 2020, Carney became head of the Brookfield ESG Advisory Group, which has since partnered with the United Nations to fund youth education programs across North America. These programs are designed to train children and university students to accept climate compliance. The doom goblin, Greta Thunberg. She's a weft puppet, man. Don't you see that? Climate compliance. They're going to have to accept equity mandates and global governance as normal. So the New World Order, they're going to get them to climate compliance. Oh my God, we're going to have to block the sun. It's too hot. It's too hot. We're going to fry. We're going to fry. We're going to fry. I'm fucking ginger. I'm going to fry. I'm not bollocks. I've been through 1976. Thank you for the correction. So in March 23, the University of Toronto received millions in funding tied to that Brookfield-backed ESG curriculum. Now, these classes redefine economic freedom as dangerous and promote submission to centralized digital control. Oh, fan my brow. We're getting to the digital economies. We're getting to the digital coins. We're getting to Europe, who've already got their digital coinage in place. And all of this is to promote submission to centralized digital control. The youth of Canada are no longer being educated, they're being conditioned. The youth of Australia will be conditioned. The youth of New Zealand and the UK, they're attempting, the globalists, via WEF to assert control and make sure that our children are conditioned. Point 5, we're not far to go now. Point 5, eliminate private property through regulation, taxation, and debt traps. Told you before, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. I'll ask you this question. Sir Keir Starmer stands at the dispatch box and tells everyone, we've had £63 billion of inward investment. Has anybody asked him about that? Can we have the detail, please, Sir Keir? I'm now going to tell you what that £63 billion inward investment is. It's Larry Fink, BlackRock, buying up the housing stock in this country. So what they're going to do over the next 30 to 50 years is they're going to buy all of the housing stock up. So you, me, and other good people can't buy a house. They're going to set debt traps. They're going to spiral the economy. So you, look at the 80s. Can you not remember when the interest rates were like 15%? That people couldn't keep up with their mortgage. So they literally were just handing the keys back through the estate agent's door. And nobody got it. And now we're in 2025. They're going to try. I don't know where you are in the financial literacy, but they're going to try and stop you. That's all. I'll give you that again. They're going to eliminate private property through regulation, taxation, and debt traps. It's coming. I'm not sure there's anything you can do to stop that. But the only way that either you or your offspring or your family will survive this is by owning land. But then again, the local councils, because we will get to some of the results that hopefully are coming in soon. These local councils, they're always good for a backhander. So Carney supports net zero home compliance. You know, Rich Boy Sunak did this in this country. In 2023, the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation proposed mandatory energy audits for homes before sale. I'm going to say that again. You getting this? Remember when they want us to get rid of the coal or the gas or the whatever, and we're going to have certain heat boilers or whatever it is? So if you want to sell your house, you've got to comply. If you don't comply, you can't sell your house. That's Chinese Communist Party territory. you don't do as you're told, you can't do it. Your name's not on the door, you're not coming in. So as Ray Norton's saying, your house will be energy efficient graded. If you can't afford to upgrade your house to a better efficiency, the government will pay for it, but you hand over the deeds to your house to them. You got it, Ray. So that's what they're going to do. They want your house off you and in the hands of the government so they can sell it on to BlackRock so that nobody will own a house in this country. It's as simple as that. So this energy audits for homes before sale. The policy was developed in part by the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, which Mark Carney chairs. He's the golden child of WEF, as is Starmer. Just Starmer's hasn't got any personality. So these audits will be used to justify carbon taxes on homeowners, making it impossible for many families to sell or afford upgrades. Ray Norton's absolutely hit the nail on the head. All the same time, interest rate hikes driven by central banks have doubled mortgage payments since early 2022. Carney supports these hikes as necessary to curb inflation. And all inflation is government spending. If government is spending billions and billions and billions, inflation's going to go up. So they can manipulate the market. They make inflation go up. You can't afford your mortgage. You hand your house back to the government. The government hands it on to BlackRock with a nice little backhander. Hey, any of the politicians watching this, we've got your measure. The result is mass foreclosure. That happened in the 80s, certainly in London. This is not mismanagement. It is decline by management. This is extraction, if you will. Now, point 6, promote division through identity politics. Because we've already got that. We've had that for 50 years. Since Charles Linton, Bow Street Magistrates, Google it. So they're going to promote division through identity politics. Not only are they going to condition our children, not only are they going to get rid of the police force, not only are they going to try and get our houses off us, but they're going to condition us and promote division through identity politics. So Carney has repeatedly made public statements aligning with social justice narratives. In May 2021, he gave a speech at the Public Policy Forum, where he called for economic systems that serve racial justice, climate justice, and gender equity. If it wasn't for Donald Trump, we would have been battered with those. And Trump's just fighting off the hordes at the door. So these are not natural goals for society. They are designed to divide individuals and pit them against one another based on race, gender, and ideology. Let me make this point to you. The reason why I'm so pleased with where we are with this channel, it's not about subs, it's not about views, it's not about making any money from the channel. All I want to bring you, your family, and your community is clarity. No chaos, no confusion. You get what they're doing and you get why they're doing it. And in this, what I'm telling you now, you absolutely see through their bullshit. So while Canadians fight over perceived slights, social media, anyone? And identity labels, oh, you're not allowed to say that, somebody might get triggered. The real theft is happening quietly. Carney's controllers benefit from chaos. And I'll say this to you again. Please let it land and understand. The WEF want you confused. Klaus Schwab, who's been fucked off. Bye, Klaus. Nice to see you. Wouldn't want to be you. Old fucker. What exactly did he do? I know what he did. I can't tell you here because my brake pipes will be fucking cut tomorrow. Carney's controllers, well, we've now got an Austrian at the head of WEF, the World Economic Forum, 50-odd-year-old, and the controllers from there benefit from chaos. Why do you think Starmer stands there and does all this bullshit to camera? It's for entertainment. It's not for the greater good. It's not for your benefit. It's for their benefit because they make shit tons of money, millions and millions and millions. Because where's the money? Where's the billions gone that they said was for Ukraine? When Starmer's just bought it. Trump's just bought it. £100 billion over, 300 billion. I need to just take a breath. £300 billion over the next 100 years. They're your taxes. It's your money. It's the money that you bust your nuts to earn and get it taken out of your pay packet or from your bank or wherever. They're taking it, giving it to another country or an NGO, and then taking a kickback. That's how the system works. Politics is corrupt. The establishment is corrupt. They're all fucking corrupt. Why do you think the Americans are kicking off big time? And how can someone, Nancy Pelosi, make tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars on a £185,000 salary? Because they're all getting dibs on the United States Agency for International Development. They would just create an NGO and then say, give us some money. So just remember this one word, chaos. They want you fearful. They want you in the chaos. They want you confused. And what I'm telling you now is giving you clarity. So the more fractured a society becomes, the easier it is to control it. Why do you think they want all the illegal immigrants in the country? Why do you think they want protestation on the streets of this country? Why do they want everybody on marches in this country? Because what does it do? It is easier to control you if you're on the march. Look at Ireland. Ireland's in a right panshite. Point 7. They want to undermine faith and family to replace them with state loyalty. I'm going to give you that again. Undermine faith and family to replace them with state loyalty. Now, Carney spoke at the Vatican. Jesus H. Chief paedophile only carked it last week. And the Vatican, it's corrupt. It's ruinous. It's poisonous. Because God is just God. But then they decide through Rome that they're going to change from being Romans and attacking the Scots. Oh, those bloody ginger, man. You can't get any. Put a wall up. Put a wall up. Keep the hordes over there. Bloody Scots, man. They're fighting us and beating us. I've told you before. The Catholic Church got the Nazis out of Germany into Italy, gave them passports and got them out of Italy, Vatican if you wish, straight into South America, where Hitler died in the 60s. Do not believe the history that is being promulgated and given to you, because it's utter shite. So point 7, undermine faith and family to replace them with state loyalty. You can see what's happening now. If the state's looking after you, giving you a home, giving you money, giving you food, giving you access, and you're being compliant, you will be loyal to the state. So as I say, Carney spoke at the Vatican in support of the Council for Inclusive Capitalism. Stakeholder capitalism. Klaus Schwab's book. I've got it somewhere. It's the Council for Inclusive Capitalism, a group designed to unite global corporations, to unite their financial institutions and the Catholic Church under a single moral economic framework. So you know what's coming? He was the penultimate. He was the last but one pope. The next one, Peter of Rome, that gets the Holy See gig. The financial institutions and the Catholic Church. Remember the bloke that was hung under London Bridge with bricks in his pocket? Can you not remember that story? A guy was murdered and they hung him from London Bridge. He was part of the financial institutions in the Vatican. Sordid doesn't even come close as to what went on and the amount of money that was being washed and laundered. But I will say to you that the message is clear. Loyalty must shift from traditional institutions to a centralized system. Do I need to say any more to you? Loyalty must shift from traditional institutions to a centralized system where moral authority is dictated by economic compliance, not a belief system, not religion, not a good book. Compliance to a centralized system. And at the same time, Canadian government programs now incentivize children to bypass parental consent on gender decisions, vaccines, and personal health records. Carney supports these policies and they remove the parent and insert the state. You keeping up? You getting it yet? So point 8, and we're pretty much finished now. Create permanent dependence on the state through programmable money. Crypto, anyone? Digital currencies, Europe's already got them. The Bank of England have already got their own digital currency. America, they've already got the digital currencies. Governments worldwide have their own digital currencies. They're going to get rid of, every 100 years, the financial institutions change and the fiat currencies are gone. Foxtrot Oscar. So you either take up and go with the system or you will be crushed. You're either part of the road or you're part of the steamroller. Crypto, I can't give you any advice whatsoever because I'm not a financial expert. I can't. YouTube don't allow it. But that's where they want us. They want us compliant. They want us controllable. They want the systems, the police gone. They want the educational system to program your children and program your grandchildren for compliance. So Carney is one of the most vocal international advocates for central bank digital currencies, or CBDC. In a December 29 speech at the Bank of International Statements, Carney said that the future of money will be programmable and trackable and must support sustainable development. So even if you've got money and even if you've got digital currencies, they will keep an eye on you, they will monitor you, and you will not. So say you kind of go, oh, here, the government could go and Foxtrot Oscar. And the government goes, can't buy anything now. So we've stopped all of your digital currencies for a month. You can't buy anything. Starve, you tarts. And those sitting in, if you look at this Labour government, left wing, somewhere near Marxism, socialism, and communism, somewhere left of Russia and China, they're high on the hog. Look at Fat Boy Lammy. There's no other description of him. Mr. Creosote. It's hyphenated, obviously. Mr. Lammy Creosote. Hyphenated. They're living high on the hog. They're getting free clothes, free food. They're going out to expensive restaurants. They are living on your taxes. How do they get away with it? Oh, I've got a government credit card. They don't pay for anything. The gig is you get into power as an MP, and then what do? You don't spend a penny of your own money. You spend the taxpayers' money. That's the gig. That's the grift. So in October 23, the Bank of Canada began pilot testing a central bank digital currency. Mark Carney is advising that effort. Fan my brow. Once implemented, this programmable currency will allow the government to freeze accounts, limit purchases, and control every financial transaction. There will be no cash, no privacy, but more importantly, no freedom. And I have to say this at this juncture because I'm nearly finished. I don't mean to scare you. I just want to cut through the fog of war. I want to cut through the chaos, the confusion, so that you get it. Every day, baby steps, they're absolutely bending me over and shafting me. They're doing the same to you. They're doing the same to your kids. They're doing the same to your grandkids. These people are evil. We are in a war, not like the Second World War or the First World War. It's not a physical war. It is a spiritual war. And these humanoids are evil, abjectly evil. And you, until tonight, maybe saw some of it, but not all of it. So what I've just described to you is the Cloward-Piven strategy. These are not theories. These are documented facts. So I'll give you an executive summary, and then we'll go and have a look and see what's going on in the world. So what are they going to do? They're going to overload and bankrupt the welfare system. They're going to raise the cost of living until survival becomes the only focus. They're going to defund and destabilize law enforcement. And we've seen all of those 3 points already starting. They're going to control education to indoctrinate the next generation. That's already started. They're going to eliminate private property through regulation, taxation, and debt traps. They're going to get your house off you to then sell on to BlackRock. And BlackRock are going to control the housing stock. They've got $11 trillion worth of assets, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, JP Morgan, they're all one and the same. It's the globalists. They're going to promote division through identity politics. We're already there. We've had it for, the Wokerati. We've had it for over 30 years. They're going to undermine faith and family to replace them with state loyalty. So the church is going to become part of the financial institutions, which is going to become part of the state, which is going to become part of the global cabal, which will tell you which way to think, which way to fart, which way to walk, which way to absolutely everything. You will be told, and there will be no resistance from you. You will be compliant because they'll starve that compliancy into you. And finally, they're going to create permanent dependence on the state through programmable money. That is within 10 years, if that, maybe 5. Keep watching Trump and crypto. Please keep watching it. Because the minute it starts going stratospheric, that's when everything's lost. And that's why Trump has been put in power. Do not believe in a month of Sundays that the globalists will allow anything to happen on their watch where they cannot control it. Trump's doubling his money, making a shed load. But I hope, I need to say this again. I don't want to scare you, but I want you to have a handle on the truth, to be able to cut through the chaos. You can see what they're doing in the schools. You can see what they're doing to the police forces. You can see, because there's 48 of them, remember. It's not just one police force. Look what they're doing with the state, with crypto. They are very gently, baby steps. As I've said to you before many times, you can't put a frog in boiling water because it'll jump out. Put a frog in cold water and then turn the heat up, and the frog will die. They're doing exactly the same to me and you and our families and our communities. They're slowly putting us into cold water and they're going to turn the heat up. Now, in the coming weeks, I will give you some answers to the Cloward-Piven strategy. I'm not some idiot that's going to give you something to scare you. Some people might like that. Frank Boff paid bloody good money for it. And Jamie Theakston, if you want a more contemporary reference. But the reason I do this is some people can call me, but the people that attack or call me, it's just slings and arrows. But they're the ones that are going to be dead first. So I'm not. It's like David Icke. David Icke is really chilled, and he sees the future. He's seen the future since the 80s, 89, I think. He doesn't care what people think of him because he knows. And again, I don't judge. There are people out there that took the jibber jabber and believe they're going to be able to survive. They're going to be dead in a few years. Look at the illnesses that are promulgated around the world so big pharma can make money. I know, I took the money, took the mickey out of what I was saying earlier about the jabs, the weight loss jabs. It's because human beings, the human condition, just wants to do the right thing. Saturday, 24th of May, British national strike in every British city, says Alan. They're looking forward to that because they are going to make sure that you do as you are told. I've been saying for 2 years how you can get around the system, have an allotment, grow your own food, learn about crypto. It seems confusing and it seems a lot to take in, which is a barrier to entry, but it's not that difficult. There are other ways. The main way is to be part of this community. If you forgive my potty mouth, I'm not fucking about on this channel. Be part of this community. Get others. Don't. I was thinking earlier today, before I started this live, people are saying, "Oh, we're awake. We're awake." No. Stop thinking you're awake. Be aligned to the truth. And what I bring you is nothing but the truth. Because when I'm long dead and buried, somebody might mention my name and say, "Remember that guy?" I don't have kids. I don't have a legacy. This will be my legacy. Right, you wrong'uns. Stuart says, I've woken up a lot and learned a lot from here. So thank you, Adrian. Ray Norton, the more people we wake up, the less chance of change. Correct. But it's about alignment now. It's not about awakening people up. Because I think there are some people so inured by, if you want to call it the matrix, you can do, but just by the establishment, by the parasitical classes, they're not awake anymore. Shall we go and see what's going on in the world of politics? Counting's underway. 15 candidates are standing in Runcorn. Yeah, they're expecting the result about 2:30 in the morning. Are you staying up? So we've got, at the moment, 1,641 seats to declare. The councillors, we've got absolutely none. Bugger all. So I'm going to entertain you some more. Everything that I've said tonight, I'm being very honest with you. Very, very honest, because I think it's really important that we as a community, I know we've got the funny stuff that we do, and we tend not to always, look at Wednesdays. Look at Wednesdays live. It was going one way, and then all of a sudden somebody mentions John Williams. Poof! We're away. We're off somewhere else, completely random. And for like nearly an hour, we were talking about film themes. It was wonderful. And that's why I love doing the lives, because it's as much you as it is me. And on Wednesday, we had the most fantastic time. But it was your doing, not me. I'm not taking responsibility for that. You're wrong. I'm going to give you some quickies before we get into some other bits and pieces. And I have got more insights for you around other things, and it's bits of the jigsaw. And I promise you, nobody else will give you the Clywyd Piven strategy. No one, because they don't. I've spent all day researching that and making my notes. And hang on, results expected shortly in Northumberland and Hertfordshire. What's bloody Hertfordshire? Is that Herefordshire? No, Hertfordshire. With a name like that, it's got to be down south. So Harrods has been hit by a cyber attack. Oh, they'll be blaming that on Al Fayed next. So some quickies that are doing the rounds at the moment. Rachel from Complaints. Thank you, Jackie. Really appreciate it. Thank you. I love Glasgow. Rachel from Complaints is deep in the doo-doo. Why? Well, she's had more bloody freebies. She's had more free tickets to go to the theatre. But it was undeclared. Now, I know that they're busy. I know they've got stuff to do. But you just don't make any mistakes around money and freebies, because you'll end up getting sacked. But because she's another WEF puppet, she was in Davos in January. She was there all week. Bloody Starmer wasn't there all week. Seemingly she had the begging bowl out. For what? On your knees, Rachel. So, she's in the doo-doo. She should be fired. She'll have 2 or 3 or 4 staff. She's a minister. She'll have people running around wiping her arse left, right and centre. And she forgot and didn't declare it. Sack her. Sack her. Get rid of her. Foxtrot Oscar, mate. Because me and you, we can't get freebies. And we're busting our asses day in, day out to do stuff. And trying to keep a roof over our heads. And trying to put food on the table. She needs to be gone. She's corrupt. Corrupt, 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 in my view. And there's Starmer. This is what I was trying to say earlier. Starmer has said Farage is pro-Putin. And I thought, hang on a second. So Russia is communist, Putin is a communist, and Starmer, the thicko, that boy hasn't got 2 IQ points to rub together. He's saying he's right-wing and pro-communist. How the bloody hell does that work then? Unless my conditioning is wrong. But I thought that left and right don't mix. Red and blue don't mix. Well, depends which paint pot you're using. So, Starmer is somewhere left of communism. Where? Look, that boy just says anything that'll come out of his... He's a gobshite. Anything that'll come out of his mouth. And then he'll retract it and go, oh, no, I'm flip-flopping. Tell me, what's a woman, Kia? Dunno, I'll get a court to tell me that, man. If he'd been honest and say, I will wait for the legal definition to be given to me by a court. I'm the Prime Minister. I can't just shout off at the mouth and stop being a clever arse. Twat. Oh, did I say that live on LBC? There's some research that's come out today, and remember what I told you in the Clwyd Piven strategy. A quarter of all police officers, all of them, plan to resign in the next 2 years. This is from the Police Federation. So this is to be believed. The Fed look after the cops, look after the welfare of the cops. A quarter of all police officers plan to resign in the next 2 years. So they're killing it off. There's not enough cops to go around. Look, if you get your house burgled, if you get your house done, don't expect a police officer to come round. They haven't got time. They're dealing with social media. And there was a time, 10 years ago, where police officers were dealing with Facebook domestics. Somebody had gone, she's got a fat ass. And she's turned around and gone, you've got a big nose, Pinocchio. It was on Facebook. So the cops would have to go around and deal with Facebook domestics. And you thought they were dealing with criminals. So now we had the Southport, I'll call it an uplift. Wasn't a kick-off. I mean, I've seen better in Sunderland on a Saturday night. But everybody got upset. I've said to you before, right-wing protests in Hartlepool and Middlesbrough. The northeast of England is redder than the bloody heat maps on a weather board on the BBC. They're not voting the Tories in. They're not voting anybody in. They are dyed-in-the-wool leftists. And we're being told, oh, there's right-wing kick-offs in Hartlepool, right-wing kick-offs in Middlesbrough. I'll call it out for what it was. Bullshit. They needed a reason to start jailing people to make you fearful and so that you did as you were told. Compliance. That's all I care about. Compliance. Do as you are told. Starmer calling Farage pro-Putin. He needs to have a word with Ginger Growler. Can't wear red shoes with a green dress. Not that, you know, I'm any fashionista by any stretch of the imagination. But why was she wearing red shoes? You've heard the conspiracy theory about the Red Shoe Brigade, haven't you? I mean, there's the old line. How can you tell? Hang on, let me just think about it. No, I'm not going to do that. I did it on the BBC and got absolutely slaughtered for it, so I'll be a bit more measured. So, a quarter of all cops plan to resign over the next 2 years. Watch the Chris Carber gun cop case with the Met, because he's being cleared in a court of law. And now the Met are saying, well, we've got professional standards, so if you don't, then we're going to sack you. For what? And the police, they're going to demoralize the police. And I did this on a couple of lives last week, where the politicians have given senior police officers the ability to sack someone because they haven't got the vetting to continue their role or their job or the role that they're contracted for. They've done nothing wrong. They just haven't got the vetting. So literally, police forces can do the cops' knees by getting rid of the vetting. Oh, you don't have vetting anymore, so, well, you can't do your job, so bye. And you're still waiting 5 days later for somebody to come round and investigate your house being done. Or, you know, one of the old girls or one of the old boys being beaten up in their home. Or kids being stabbed. Now, there's Ant Middleton. If he becomes mayor of London, he said he'll clear the streets, and I'm sure he's got the talent, ability and tools to do it. But they don't want him to sort London out. They want the chaos. So Chris Carber, if the Met turn round and say, we're going to pull your vetting, therefore you don't have a job, watch all of the other cops lay down their guns and say, right, you arsehole can get out and police the streets. I'm talking about the chief constables. I'm talking about the chief officers or the senior management team if they want to give themselves, or the Star Chamber if they want to give themselves some bloody, and then they'll go out in one of the police cars and start shagging hooers. It has happened in Scotland. I've told you that before. They're corrupt. They're politicians at the top of police forces and they're corrupt. If they're going to do that to their police officers, if they're going to do that to their armed police, you can't feel safe. You will not feel safe on the streets of London. But that's what they're after, because London, carnage is going to be one of the 15-minute cities that they implement quickest. Oh, you forgot about that? So the cops will lay down their guns. You won't have armed response officers in London, and it's one of the most... I'm watching Mobland. I know how violent and awful it is on the streets of London, because Mobland, obviously, is not a documentary. It's a drama. But so they're now, Tony Blair's coming out saying, and it must be, I don't know whether the guy that's taken over WEF used to be head of kind of water funding or something. And he doesn't want me and you to have clean water. And then today I find out that my water bill is going up 50%. Thieving bastards. At least Dick Turpin wore a mask. And do you know what they've done? They've given all these investors, they've given them the dividends, but they've not put it into infrastructure. So what they're now doing is saying to you and to me, bend over, we're going to take money out of you by putting the prices up, as in the Clwyd Piven strategy. We're going to make sure that you pay through the nose, and then we'll start working on the infrastructure that you can pay for, not us, because we're taking all the dividends out. We're making profit out of utility companies. There's Thames Water. I wonder how much money they've got left in the bank. So net zero is to be dropped, possibly. Ed Millipede was just a distraction, as I've told you before. But how much did he make? Or how much did people around him make? Because I am telling you, in my view, and I've been doing this 40 years, politics is finished. It's totally and utterly corrupt from where I sit. So these politicians, they should be told, you cannot earn a penny whilst you are a politician. You do it for free. We give you subs, we'll give you a house, but you can't use the house for anything other than sleeping in. If you don't sleep in that house that we give you, then you can't have it. If you have a house in London that gets you to the Houses of Parliament, then stuff you. And we will keep all of your money so that when you leave Parliament, you can have all of that money. And you only are allowed 2 terms, 2 5-year terms. You can only stay as a politician for 10 years maximum. You can't earn a penny. It'll stop the grifters. Corrupt. I've said to you before, there was a... hang on, I really need to be accurate with this. There was a minister shagging somebody else. And that somebody else was on a TV program one day and then left the country the next. So we have YouTubers that have left the country after maybe somebody's had a quiet word in their shell like. But even the politicians, oh, you're shagging him, are you? Oh, right, fuck off to America then. And she went. PDQ. Never came back. Gave some spurious reason, I want to spend more time with my family and my husband. Do your research, you'll find out who it is. I know who she was shagging. Pig fucker. So Virginia Giuffre's dad says she didn't commit suicide. All right, hands up. Let's do a... I want to do 1 for yes, 2 for no. We'll do it again now that we've had a few more days information come out in the propaganda peddlers. Do you believe Virginia Giuffre committed suicide? 1 for yes, 2 for no. That is just a simple question. Do you believe Virginia Giuffre killed herself? 1 for yes, 2 for no. See, I'm with the 2s. I don't believe she killed herself. It was just weird. I know she had personal stuff going on, but no, it was too convenient. Absolutely too convenient. And the timing, it was announced on the day of the Pope's funeral. What? I mean, I keep telling you, I'm a cynical old tart, and I always look for the timing of things. And it came out on the day that the most famous man on the planet, because seemingly he's God's right-hand man. Plenty of right-hand men in the Roman Catholic Church. So it came out on the day, well, it happened the night before, but it only came out, because Australia's ahead of us, only came out on the day that the Pope was interred. He was buried. How do we in shite, man? Do you think I got off the last banana boat? English bottle cap, the suicide note is weird too. Did she type it, or was it handwritten, and was it her handwriting? Or did she have a gun to her head? Right, you'll write your suicide note. This is what you'll say. Write it. Bang! Lauren Taylor, don't give a rat's arse. Buck says he likes a good tart. Don't like the expensive ones. The thing is, Lauren, there are very powerful people and very eminent people implicated in this. So we've got one guy, inject the babies. How many times was Bill Gates on the Lolita Express? How can he explain that? And his missus has said that his association with Jeffrey Epstein was one of the reasons why she left him. So we're not talking about people, Fred the joiner, who barely gets by every week. We're talking about people where money doesn't matter. Literally doesn't matter. They've got so much of it, it's never going to run out. No, I'm not telling you how to think. I'm really pleased that people are, challenging what I'm saying, and are challenging the zeitgeist, if you will. Alan says, I don't know. Kaz says she wasn't in the box with him, was she? Written by Autopen. Les Griffiths, sharp, sharp, sharp. Is she with Epstein? What, in South America? Gone for a bit of plastic surgery. Look, if Hitler, the most reviled man on planet Earth, can get out of Grey Wolf, can get out of Germany, can end up in South America, and not be touched by the global elite, and he's having 2 daughters in South America. Fucking hell, man. I mean, look, 6 million Jews, 5 million gypsies, 12 million Russians. We had hundreds of thousands of people killed in World War II, and they let Hitler go to South America. Spitting Image had Hitler living next door to Thatcher. Thatcher? Who the fuck is Thatcher? Oh, Pastor J.D. Jakes, the best mate of Sean Coombs, has resigned from his ministry just before the trial. Les, is the trial's not tomorrow, is it next week? Because they're now starting to name people. Like Prince Harry, who went to Diddy parties, freak-offs, and Russell Brand, and Jay-Z and his missus, and seemingly there's a video doing the rounds of Jay-Z and P. Diddy doing his missus together, spit roast. Terry Wookford says, I won't ever commit suicide post came from 2019. I get that. But there's now there are victims still around, and the victims are saying, I'm not suicidal, because they're all shitting themselves. I'm not suicidal. And one of them, can't remember her name off the top of my head. I have asked her for an interview to come on the channel. I messaged her a couple of days ago and asked her to come on the channel. So fingers crossed. But we've got, they're all saying I won't commit suicide. It's like Dr. David Kelly. The minute he said there were no weapons of mass destruction, he was gone. Done. And some of the stuff that came out in the autopsy just doesn't make any sense. There's Griffiths. Yeah, it might be next week. If the journos are kind of setting up the names of people, then it probably is going to happen soon. Gene the Psychic says, rocket scientists. Prince William too. Yeah. I know. No, we'll leave Diddy at that. Galactus. Adrian, there's a decent Hollywood movie called Darkness Falls. It's about a cop's wife who is murdered to look like a suicide. He uncovers that the same thing is happening to others. No, I haven't seen that one. I will check it out, Galactus. Somebody told me about Frankenskies. Somebody in one of the comments a couple of weeks ago, one of the lives, commented about Frankenskies, and I've watched it. It is... That's why I want this channel to be a community of the aligned. Andrew Breitbart, death is very odd. I agree with you, Andrew. James O'Keefe has gone into hiding. I saw that earlier. Why do you think he's gone into hiding, Les? Let me just do something. Right, it's lagging. Okay, I just was a little worried that interesting. I'll deal with that later. And for anyone that wants to know, I don't work at the moment. I don't have a job, well, apart from this. So thank you for the Jufrey responses. Gene Psychic says they're all in the club and we're not in it. I know, including Groucho Marx. No councillors have been elected yet, and well, they're saying results are expected shortly. It's just after midnight. 1,600 seats, 2 by-elections. First one's going to come in about 2:30, possibly. I want to talk about, there was a Channel 4 documentary called Groomed, a National Scandal. Now, I know this is, it's a difficult subject. It is, I will readily admit that I had to stop a couple of times during this because it's a difficult, it's a challenging watch. And 10 minutes in, I had to stop. It's Channel 4. You can watch it on catch up. It's 71 minutes long. Groomed, a National Scandal, and it's the story of mainly Pakistani male groomers. The one thing that I'm disappointed with is that we're replacing the word rape with grooming, and there's a lot of nervy people because the girls that gave their testimony in this documentary, they were raped. Yes, they were groomed, but they were also raped. And I tend to go with the worst crime first. And what they did sort of 20 years ago, they labeled the children that were being groomed as child prostitutes. I would suggest that it's organized crime. The one thing I did think was, how can they, surely somebody must have had a word with the sponsors that were sponsoring the documentary, because this was, I mean, sometimes when I do videos on this channel, I don't make that much money from it, but I'll monetize the video. And if it's a sensitive subject, I won't monetize it at all. I'll just let the video speak for itself. But what they did was they labeled these little girls as, oh, Hartlepool by-election win. Farage is upbeat. So it looks like out of, because nobody's won a seat yet on the BBC. I don't think Sky are, let me just, what's that then? I think Sky News must be, no, I'll stick with the BBC. They've got a team out. They'll have a whole team of people out. There you go. Reform, get the first one. And it looks like, thank you to the Scarlet Pimpernel, it looks like Reform get the first council seat in its Hartlepool. So thank you for that. We actually got it before the BBC. Hurrah! So back to Groomed, this national scandal. And it is. It's absolutely disgusting, and it will go down in our history as this Sceptred Isle. I mean, we've had some things happen to us over, the last few thousand years. We have a long, long history, but this is an abject stain on who we are. And yet, I believe the man and woman on the street want something done about this, but the politicians are not doing anything. Now, remember, I told you, I gave you the 8 points. They're going to, I've got some figures, and it looks like there are 1,200,000 200,000 migrants on benefits in this country. Fact, 1,200,000 migrants on benefit in this country. But point one of the Clywyd Piven strategy is overload and bankrupt the welfare system. And then promote division through identity politics, undermine faith and family, and raise the cost of living until survival becomes the only focus. It's all in here. So having all of these migrants come in and then being put on benefits. Well, these little girls, they're young teenage girls, they were labelled as child prostitutes when they were literally... what's happened in Hartlepool? The BBC have taken that one seat off Reform. Isn't that... oh, it's back again. Isn't that weird? They don't want Reform to win anything. The system, the establishment, absolutely categorically will not allow Reform to get anything because it's querying their pitch, so to speak. They have no control. And is Farage a WEF puppet? Don't think so. And even when Trump went out to WEF, oh, hang on, Labour have got a seat. Which one's that? Trump went out to WEF, but he went out on his own terms. So I would suggest that this groomed highlights organised crime, because what the girls were saying in their testimony on camera was that they would be picked up with a guy that they thought was their boyfriend, and he may have a cousin or a relative with him in the car, and the boyfriend was like, well, you can do this to him, and I want you to do this to him, and they would do that to him because they believed they were, doing it for their boyfriend. And then families would get involved, and then it would be passed around. They would be taken around the country, but they were still labelled child prostitutes. So the majority of perpetrators, it was given as fact, are white, and actually someone the victims know. So that's the majority of the perpetrators. And as I said a moment ago, it's all in language. They won't use the R word. They won't say they've been raped. So the rape gangs, they call them the grooming gangs because it's more palatable. It's less hard-hitting. And that's what they do. But I will tell you this, it started during Tony Blair's government. He was elected in 97. I think he did 10 years. So a lot of these rapes and subsequent lack of investigation happened under Tony Blair's watch. Just leave that with you. And I would suggest that it doesn't matter how the system wants to look at these men. It's not about skin tone. It's about criminals and criminal acts and organised crime, organised criminals. I know there'll be the sensational angles from the propaganda peddlers, the mainstream media, but for me, it's got nothing to do with skin tone. It's got everything to do with crime. And anyone that commits a crime should be upheld to the letter of the law. It's really that simple. And I know they'll say, oh, well, we haven't got enough cops, we can't do this, can't do that. It's not about skin tone. And at the end of the documentary, all of the agencies were given the right of reply. And all the agencies have said is this, and I'm paraphrasing, but I could have quoted it to you, but there's so many different agencies that they went to, the police and support agencies. But I want to give you a kind of feel for what the zeitgeist is, what they were saying. And this is what they're saying. Northumberland, Reform, 59% of the vote. Labour, 31% of the vote. The Tories are virtually not there at the races, 10%. So it's between Reform, 59%. This is in Northumberland for the by-election, and Labour, 31%. So if that goes across the board, all across the land, Starmer's lost his job tomorrow. If the Labour Party are in such a weak place, they will get rid of him. The people that are the decision makers, not Starmer. He doesn't lead the Labour Party per se. It's all led by committee. So Starmer's going to be gone. So the agencies were given right of reply, and all the agencies have said, and I'm paraphrasing, we understand child sexual exploitation better now. I bet you do. These are all the agencies. It was the general consensus amongst the agencies. We understand child sexual exploitation better now. The Home Office said it's one of the greatest failures in our country's history. Not doing anything about it then? No. One of the greatest failures in our country's history. They've commissioned a national audit over the investigations and the crimes. And they've commissioned a national audit to uncover the scale of grooming gangs in the United Kingdom, including looking at ethnicity. But they've already said in the documentary that the majority of perpetrators are white. So you know that the politicians are going to skew this, because they'll be able to say, we've looked at ethnicity and the majority of perpetrators are white, and they're someone the victim knows. The Home Office, one of the greatest failures in our country's history. Okay. Commissioned an audit, national audit, to uncover the scale of grooming gangs in the UK. So as I've said, got nothing to do with skin tone. This is about raping children. And if they conduct a national audit, let's see what comes out, including looking at ethnicity. So I believe that they're not actually doing anything. They're just rearranging the deck chairs around the pool. They're not doing anything. It's just optics. So, interestingly, Sir Keir Starmer refused to be interviewed for the programme. That's according to the makers of this documentary. Sir Keir Starmer refused to be interviewed for the programme. So just going to the maybe the Hartlepool by-election. I think it's, no, I said it was Northumberland. So Labour lost the seat in Northumberland to a Reform candidate. So that's one of the two by-elections. The rest is 1,600 and odd council seats. But when it's come to by-elections, the Northumberland by-election, we still got Runcorn and Helsby to come. But in Northumberland, Reform have gained the seat and Labour have lost the seat. I want to stay on not a serious tip, but just to get more information to you without any confusion. And I know we've been is that one, yeah. I know that we've Gene Psychic says, I hope Liverpool overturn Labour. It'll be interesting. Lauren Taylor to the old bottle. Yeah, you're right. Democracy, my arse. Gene Psychic, DDP, Starmer. What a bloody joke. Gene, at dispatches yesterday, PMQs, Kemi not good enough. She got into him saying, look, you keep giving us all this stuff about DDP, which was years ago. You're now the Prime Minister. Do something about it now. Oy, 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 oy. English bottle cap. We have a new Reform MP. Yeah, I think so. For Northumberland, it was a Labour seat. Now Reform. There's Griffiths. Sooner or later, out of anger and frustration, people will turn to the BNP, and we don't want that. Paulie Galdieri, Liverpool is red. Trade unions run Liverpool. I know they do. I know they do. Is Derek Hatton still on trial? I don't want to talk about the trial as such, but I saw that there was stuff going on with him, and then there's been no more reportage or news. So it saddened me. I would suggest that, you know, Adolescence from Netflix. I'm sure it was just publicity and PR to keep it in the public consciousness, but this groomed the national scandal should be showed in all schools, because I'm absolutely sure that there'll be young girls that are in similar situations and they don't know who to turn to. And if they do turn to someone, then the story might be squashed. So rather than put adolescence on the school curriculum, or however they're going to do it to show it in schools, actually ditch that, because the reality in schools is much worse than was shown in adolescence. But this groomed... Oh, apologies. Terry's always going to keep me right. Northumberland win for reform was a council seat, not the by-election. Are you sure, Terry? You sure? So, oh, it's Hertfordshire. No. God blimey, she's had coffee. So the council seats, no one, Reform, Labour, Conservative, Lib Dems, or somebody in pink. Oh, there's councillors. All right, then. Why have they gone from Northumberland, though? It's going to be a long night. So I believe that the authorities should show groomed in school, not adolescents. The kids know, as in what goes on in adolescence. They know. They're much sharper than we give them credit for. But this Groomed is a very hard-hitting documentary. If you've not seen it, watch it. As I say, I had to stop a couple of times just to kind of catch my breath, because it's very challenging, very triggering, and very, very... And look, I'm just a daft boy from the northeast of England. I've seen some awful stuff, real terrible stuff. I didn't flinch. But this, because there was no hope, there was no the kids, the young girls that were being labelled and tar brushed as young prostitutes. You can just see that wasn't the case, but it was black in their name. That's what Savile did. That's what everybody in high-powered positions do. They say to their victims, don't tell anyone, otherwise we'll be in trouble, or if you do, I'll kill you. And some of these victims were told by their boyfriends, you do anything, or one of the girls that was literally chucked into a parent's garden by the abuser, and he said, you tell anyone, I'll kill you. This needs to be, and I know that certain people are in jail for airing documentaries. This has got to be part of an adult conversation, because I believe that a well-organised society should always, always protect their children and their old ones, and should have a way of controlling law and order on the streets. There's a big argument starting between China and America, because China, bless them, they're now saying America was responsible for the Charlie 19 outbreak. China reckons University of North Carolina, or a bioweapons lab at Fort Detrick, if that's how you pronounce it. And they said it was created either at the University of North Carolina or a bioweapons lab in Fort Detrick, but was seeded in Wuhan in 2019. Now, I know we saw little Sniffy and Trump have a bit of a conflab at the Vatican. But Ukraine was hiding bioweapons labs. So are they going to let that out? I mean, Ukraine is hiding a lot of deep, dark secrets. English bottle cap. Derek Hatton, a second trial will take place from October 26, lasting 15 weeks. Joe and David Anderson, Derek and Sonia Hatton, and Andrew Barr are due to face a jury during this trial. Thank you, English bottle cap. I was wondering what happened, because it was in the papers and then there's been nothing. But if you blink, you miss news nowadays. It's that fast. Hang on, what's Ronald McDonald said? Yeah. How did Hugh Edwards escape a prison sentence? Well, according to Terry Wookfit, current sentencing guidelines and first offence, and very expensive PR companies, crisis management companies, and lawyers and barristers. So he spunked a lot of people money. That's why he's not actually given any of the money back the BBC wants from while he was on gardening leave. So I'll give you these figures again, because I noted them down, and I know I've said them already, but 1,200,000 migrants are in the UK and on benefits. So now you know they need to destabilise, they need to kill the country from within, and that's what the WEF are doing, and that's why I brought that information to you. Now, RFK Jr., Robert Kennedy Jr. says they have ended HHS, that's the Health and Human Services, as the principal vector for child trafficking, and that during the Biden administration it became a collaborator for child trafficking, sex and slavery. I'm quoting directly. That's Robert Kennedy Jr. There's been this Trump administration get together around a big table yesterday, and all the usual luminaries were doing and there. But RFK, who's been in post nearly 100 days, Gene Sager, what's the OMG for? Les Griffiths, AIDS came from monkeys, pox came from monkeys, don't shag monkeys. Just don't go to Hartlepool. There's been a deal signed today. 1.2 million migrants wait until they send for their families. Quite right, Les. So under Tony Blair, I think this was in 99, Germany panicked. Germany said to the rest of Europe, you're going to have to take more migrants. We're taking about 100,000 a year and we can't sustain this. So France, how many are you doing? Oh, about 35 or 45,000. UK, how many are you doing? Oh, about 30,000. Right, you can bloody start taking 100,000. You'll notice that Sakir Starmer said that he would allow 100,000 in this year while he was in his first year in power. There are about 34,000 since they got into, but what Blair decided to do, or his government decided to do, certainly, they'll count the male heads coming in, and then when they go, oh, we've got rid of some migrants, they'll take the wife and the kids and the male head. So all of a sudden, it's one coming in, it's four going out. So they can turn around and say, oh, we're deporting, 10,000 have come in, but we've sent 40,000 back. And people go, wow, 40,000, that's brilliant. No, it was just the original bloke and his missus and the two kids. That's Tony Blair's government. What, you thought they didn't tell lies? How can you tell when a politician's lying? Their lips move. That's Blair, Charles Linton, Bow Street Magistrates. Google it. So today it's come out, not out, just out, that the US and the Ukraine have signed a natural resources deal. Now, when Sniffy kind of kicked off at the White House, it was, we all said, do you know what's going to happen, don't you? Trump's going to get him to cough up more. So today, the US and Ukraine signed a natural resources deal, and under the agreement, the Ukrainian state determines, so the Ukrainians, what natural resources are extracted, with the fund structured on a 50-50 basis. The Americans going 50-50. Nah, it's got to be a pig and a poke there. So the fund's going to be jointly managed with neither side holding a dominant role. A concession Kiev persuaded Washington to make after it had originally demanded sweeping control over Ukraine's natural resources. The agreement includes no provisions on any Ukrainian debt obligations to the US. So Sniffy has still got to cough up the billions. So the US and Ukraine sign an agreement creating an investment fund after months of negotiations. I told you that's what was going to happen. I told you that the Americans would come out with a deal. I told you that Trump would negotiate a deal, as has Putin, because Sniffy, if he leaves the presidency, he's going to be assassinated. There are many military factions that are not happy with him. I mean, I wish him good health and I wish him long life. But the reason why he's staying as president, a war president, is because he doesn't want people catching up with him. English bottle cap. Who remembers when the personnel department became the human resources? Can you remember that Clint Eastwood film when he talked about human resources, HR? Dirty Harry. Was it Dirty Harry? Brilliant. Missing kids in America were flagged up on milk cartons. The number to call if cited was the number for what's the CF, Les? Terry Wookfit. The Yanks can walk away from the deal anytime they want, which is what will happen. Well, if they're making money, they won't. The US have said that they'll contribute to the fund through direct payments or through new military assistance. So the military-industrial complex, and to be part of the UN, means that you have to buy your arms and armaments from preferred suppliers within the UN. And that's what they wanted Ukraine to be part of the UN for, to buy all of these arms and armaments. So the military-industrial complex, I definitely need a coffee. The military-industrial complex are making money. That's all. So Trump's keeping them happy. In the meanwhile, any of the debt has got to be paid back. That's not going to be wiped off the slate. Eamon Holmes said today that Trump is a joke. Bless him. This is the man that uses his personal life for publicity. I see. Hang on a second. Let me get that. Missing kids in America were flagged up on milk cartons. The number to call, if cited, was the number for the Clinton Foundation. Have you seen the film Clinton's Cash? I mean, they've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Billions go through the Clinton Foundation, and they've donated a couple of $100 million. I'm not taking Hillary on because people die. That's why she's called Hillary Clinton. Terry Wookfit, go look at a map for rare minerals in Ukraine. There is not much that isn't under Russian footfall. I told you when the Russians would stop the war and gave stop. Well, they've got Crimea. There's a shit ton of it in Crimea. Well, that's mainly where the oil and the gas is, under the Black Sea, and they want to get access to it via the Crimea. Well, the Clintons, well, dodgy family. Oh, a bit of an understatement, Darren. I mean, Bill will just shag anything that moves. That's why the painting in a blue dress with red shoes. What's that about in Epstein's pied-à-terre on the island? And if you're Bill Clinton, why would you allow somebody to have a painting painted of you in a blue dress and red shoes? Unless they've got something on you. Cuban Pete, Big Mike. I'm getting tired now. Big Mike has been out doing interviews last couple of days. So maybe the divorce has gone through. Barry has been told, oi, you're wrong, and cough. And Big Mike, ever going to announce anything? because kind of the whole world knows. I mean, it's not necessarily an open secret, but the whole world knows. Seemingly, this agreement that's been signed today for minerals with the US and the Ukraine also is an agreement to create a US-Ukrainian reconstruction investment fund. So the Donald, he's a builder. There's more money to be made in rebuilding a country after war than there is bombing the shit out of it. So the military-industrial complex will get their money, but the Russians get Crimea, the gas and the oil, and the Donald and the Americans, as they did with Iraq, they made Halliburton made a shit ton of money out of rebuilding Iraq. Dick Cheney, Halliburton, you know those surely, and the Donald, a reconstruction investment fund. Wonder how much money is going to go into that. So they're saying that they expect during the first 10 years, profits and revenues from the fund will not be distributed, but can only be invested in Ukraine, in new projects or reconstruction. These conditions will be discussed further. So when America loaned us money for the Second World War, we didn't finish paying off that debt for 50 years. So there's Starmer giving Ukraine £3 billion, which is more than the dollars, £3 billion a year for 100 years to pay, obviously, the American debt off. And the Americans are just going, oh, brilliant, brilliant, Kia. Right, we'll have a bit of that. Yeah, pass it over. So seemingly, the Americans are posturing over Russia because Lindsey Graham has said that he has the commitment of 72 colleagues for a bill in the Senate that would enact bone-crushing new sanctions on Russia. It's all for bloody show, man. If I wanted to go and see some theatre, I'd go to the theatre and see a play. But it's all this entertainment for the puppet masters in the shadows and anything else. But in the words of the great Chinese philosopher, it's all bollocks. So he's saying that the new sanctions on Russia, the punishments would include a 500% tariff on imports from countries that buy Russian oil, petroleum products, natural gas or uranium. They tried that with Iraq, man. There were people flogging Iraqi oil behind the Americans' back. The Americans weren't very happy about it, but it's just about the Benjamins. So all of this is theatre, darling, theatre. So the movement intends to prohibit the passage of British commercial ships. Oh, back to the Houthis. So I've said to you before, I've explained to you that the Ben Gurion Canal is the reason why the Israelis went into Gaza. Under the East Mediterranean Sea, there is so much gas and oil under the Gaza Strip and under the East Mediterranean. BP went and did some exploratory digging in the East Mediterranean Sea, and it will make Israel an insanely wealthy country. Like, you know, any of the Gulf states, there'll be trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, petrodollars, in the gas and the oil. But nobody worked out that the Israelis went into North Gaza, flattened it halfway down, built a road halfway down for all their military movements, and then put all of the Gazans into the South Gaza Strip, and they're doing drilling. And there was the Americans. Now, the Americans are not stupid. They're very clever businessmen. Wherever there's a crisis, there's an opportunity. And the Americans said, yeah, we built a port halfway up the Gaza Strip to bring aid in for the Gazans. And, well, we spent $300 million on it so we could get aid into the Gaza Strip and down into the Gazans in southern Gaza. It's exactly the place where they're going to build the port to bring the oil on ashore and the gas. Bit like Dundee in Israel. So they're going to bring the gas and the oil ashore at this port that the Americans built for 300 million to bring the aid ashore for the Gazans in the South Gaza Strip. Can you see how it's all deflection, it's all distraction, it's all just people going, watch the birdie, watch the birdie. Oh! So now we've got a situation where the Houthis have announced a ban on the passage of British ships. So if I can describe it to you so you can see it in your mind's eye, you're kind of coming up from the Indian Ocean up towards the Suez Canal, but you've got Yemen on your right where the Houthis are going, right, we've got some bombs. We'll try and send some bombs to you if you come past Yemen. And what's going to happen is that the Suez Canal is built on shifting sands. The Ben Gurion Canal is going to be built on rock. So it's going to be stable. It's going to be wider. And Israel and America will be able to move their military convoys through the Ben Gurion Canal without having to pay the Egyptians any money for moving it through the Suez Canal. That's what, and it's going to make them millions. Look, the Suez is making Egypt about $6 billion a year profit. Nice work if you can get it. The minute the Ben Gurion Canal opens up, boof, off you go. Suez is no more. Suddenly got a Proclaim song in my head there. So the Houthis are wanting to control that. They want a bit of the action. A bit like when the Americans went into Afghanistan and they sent to the Taliban. Right, lads, here's the deal. We're going to build a pipeline from the Caspian Sea down to a warm water port in Pakistan. You've got two options. You can either play with us and we'll pay you, or you'll get a carpet of bombs. And the Taliban were like, well, lads, here. Foxtrot Oscar. Off you go. And the Americans went, are you sure? Is that your decision? And the Taliban went, hang on, we look after this country. We're in charge here. So here, sling your hook, mate. So anyway, they got a carpet of bombs. Remember when the Americans were using the B-52s for a carpet of bombs on the Tora Bora mountain range? Because seemingly there was a bloke there, the devil, Osama bin Laden, who was in the caves that the CIA had built for him, his retreat in the caves. He needed kidney dialysis. Do you think he was in the bloody Tora Bora mountain range in Afghanistan when he needed kidney dialysis? Had away and shite, man. It's what the Americans want you to believe. And there was, look, the Black Sea, there was Slobodan Milosevic. The Americans had gone in and went, Slobodan, we want to build a pipeline from the Black Sea west all the way to Germany to power the German economy. And Slobodan went, well, okay, that's fine, but I'll run Yugoslavia. And the Americans said to Slobodan, this is not us playing softball. We're telling you, mate, we're going to build a pipeline from the Black Sea all the way west to Germany to build and run the German economy. And Slobodan went, or what the equivalent in Yugoslavian, go off. I'll run this country. I'm in charge. Stuff you. Anyway, wasn't too long later, he was arrested. And he was in jail when he had the heart attack. Don't mess with the Americans. They're good businessmen. So they took Slobodan out of Yugoslavia. They'll take anybody. Regime change. Look at Iraq. First thing the Americans did when they went into Iraq, secure the oil fields. Secure the Kurdish oil fields in the north. And now they've fallen out about some nuclear deal with Iran. What's that? Where's you, Bovril? Built this city on rock and roll. Starship. What a song that was, Alan. Andrew James. The oil won't be worth much if only their mates have cars that can use it. Correct. Electric vehicles. No, man, away. That's not a flyer. Why? Because the insurance companies won't insure them. Oh, hang on a second. So Reform have got 3 seats. Labour have lost 3 seats. And nobody else has got any. I told you, I predicted this is going to be a night of long nights tonight. It's going to be blood up the political walls. Starmer could be sacked in the morning, or rather, something will come out about his private life, and it'll be, step aside, young Keir. So if Reform have 3 seats, oh, the Conservatives have 1. Oh, bugger me, the Conservatives have a seat. Well, that's how it was playing out. They were talking about Reform having such a lead, and that the Tories would kind of nip away. But Labour, I'm telling you, the lies and the corruption, and it doesn't matter what comes out the groove tube, doesn't matter what they say in the newspapers, people don't read them anymore. They don't watch the groove tube. They come to channels like this for truth, and they come to channels like this to be able to kind of ascertain what is going on in the world, and then all of a sudden they go, bloody Labour, I've been Labour all my life, not any longer. Here, Labour Party, stuff you, I'm taking my bloody membership elsewhere. Yeah, wrong. So let's get on to the back to the Houthis and what they're trying to do in the Indian Ocean and through the Suez Canal. So they've announced a ban on British ships through the Red and Arabian Seas. It's just all in that area. The movement intends to prohibit, I'm talking in Houthi language now, by the way. The movement intends to prohibit the passage of British commercial ships through the Red Sea, Arabian Sea, and the Gulf of Aden, just as it has for US and Israeli ships. This step has been taken in response to the US announcement of conducting airstrikes against Yemen alongside the United States. The source stated, well, that's going to be... right, okay, full stop. I was thinking, there can't be any more than that. So, what was I going to tell you? I've told you about the countries to keep an eye on worldwide. I've told you about the Clawford-Piven strategy. I've told you that everything is about energy independence. So America, they've got $8 trillion worth of oil under their feet that they're going to drill out. These clowns, like Millipede, have said, no, we're going to stop drilling in the North Sea. And there's billions of barrels of oil under the North Sea. Doesn't matter whether it's close to Norway and Denmark or whether it's the northern part of Scotland. I'm telling you this. Little Jimmy Cranky came out and said, yeah, Scottish oil. And somebody had to tell her, oi, thick shite. It's only the oil of wherever it is brought ashore. Yeah, well, it's brought ashore in Scotland. And it wasn't a kick in the backside away from, you are aware that there was a split pipe in the North Sea somewhere. So on the one hand, you can kind of flick a switch and it comes ashore in Scotland. But if you flick the switch somewhere else, it comes ashore in Hartlepool. So these clowns in Scotland, white, who said white? They've got to be careful. Because if somebody gets sufficiently pissed off, they'll bring the oil ashore in Hartlepool, then becomes English oil. Mind you, Ted Heath, in the 70s, he decided to keep the price of a barrel of oil at 1973 prices. Crooked. He didn't want the money. He's got the money. He just didn't want to get found out shagging rent boys and then hoying them over the side of Morning Cloud in the English Channel. Oh, you didn't know that? He's dead. I think we'll wait for the result from Hertfordshire, and I'll have been doing this for 3 hours, so you'll have to forgive me. We may have to call it a day then, but I've still got some stuff I want to talk to you about. I was going to say this earlier about Starmer, and I've asked you the question on previous lives. What have they got on Sir Keir Starmer that means he will do as he is told? So you know the Clawford-Piven strategy, where they're just going to batter you, and you'll do as you're told till you become compliant. What have they got on him? And I don't even know who they are. Is it WEF? Is it the global elite? Is it the Rothschilds? Are we just conspiracy theorists? Are we just all aligned? What have they got on him to make him do as he is told? We'll soon find out if the Labour Party are literally handed their derriere back to them. So maybe things will come out about Starmer that we don't know yet. It'll suddenly mysteriously appear. I want to kind of reiterate two things. One, I'll get to Tony Blair and net zero because it's dull. It is dull. I mean, even Ed Millipede tried to get his ukulele out and give it a strum under an electric pylon. I mean, the man himself is dull and boring. He was the leader of the Labour Party and made a right shite hole of that. So now he's I'm George Farley. Fuck off, man. We just think you're a clown. It's really that simple. You are a clown, Bonnie lad. And we don't want you on a net zero anywhere in our country. We want our politicians to do the best for the country, to do best for the English, the Scots, the Welsh and the Irish, Northern Irish. So we want them to do the best for us. And look, we know that they're corrupt because they're taking money left, right and centre. I mean, they've even had one politician, I won't name him, but he lives in Musselburgh. I can't live on £80,000 a year. Fucking hell. Have you seen the size of his house? It's got its own walled garden. You can't get in there. The security's tight as hell. And he's a former barrister, I think. Complaining he can't live on 80 grand a year. Can't say what I wanted to say. That definitely would have been a lawsuit. But there was. So politicians are corrupt. They just want to take everything they can for themselves. They're not interested in doing the right thing by us for the good of the country, for the good of our communities, for the goodness of our families. No, don't be stupid. So here we go. The UK is now setting out new laws to regulate crypto exchanges and dealers. They're not stupid, are they? They're going to regulate the exchanges and dealers, but they're not going to regulate crypto because that means they wouldn't be able to buy crypto and make money. Because I will guarantee you that there'll be a lot of politicians that have got varying crypto in their wallets, shall we say. XRP, definitely. Ethereum, definitely. Bitcoin, almost certainly. They'll have joined that particular bandwagon years ago. So they just want to make money. And now they want to make sure, remember and keep this in your head, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. And they will stop every which way for you to make any money for yourself until you become compliant. So the crypto exchanges and dealers, around 12% of British adults own or have owned cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin or Ethereum, according to the research that I saw earlier. That's up from 4% in 2021, the government said. So the government's on your tail. If you're after crypto, they're going to make sure that they regulate the exchanges and dealers. And if you look at crypto, XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, they're going up 5%, they're coming down 5%. They're going up 5%, they're coming down 5%. They're going up 5%, they're coming down 5%. So these big banks that have got billions in crypto, 5% is still worth millions to them. So one day it goes down 5%, you buy at the bottom, and then the next day it goes up 5%, you sell it at the top. So it's a 10% difference. Is that right? Yeah, down 5%, up 5%. No, it's just 5%. So they will make sure that they make money by putting a ton of cash through cryptocurrencies, and you can't. You've got to do as you're told. We're in charge. We're the politicians. We have the power. We can do whatever we want. Buy solar panels, then Millie Brain will put the sun out. Brilliant, Alan. Amalia Grassi couldn't buy or sell into bank accounts with Wirex. Really? They stopped you, Amalia? I can't, this is YouTube, so I can't give you any financial advice whatsoever because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional financial advisor, but I do know some of my friends are buying into XRP, XLM, and HBAR because they're all under the Ripple umbrella. And what the Americans are doing is they're trying to keep hold of it so nobody makes any money outside of America. So HBAR, XLM. So the way it's going to work, Bitcoin is going to be the gold reserve. I'm just kind of giving you an insight. I'm not advising you at all. Bitcoin is going to be the gold reserve. Ethereum, not quite sure where that's going to go, but the Ripple coins, so XRP is going to be used by the institutions to transfer money. XLM and HBAR are going to be the way that you can buy things on the high street. So you will buy HBAR coins and XLM, and you want to go down to Boots and buy your jabs, then you will use those crypto coins. XLM is going to be used by the institutions to trade. Ethereum possibly, but Bitcoin is going to be the gold reserve. Cheers for the sermon, Rev. Got to go to bed. Got graft 7 a.m., 7:30. Yeah, wrong. Nicholas, always good to see you there. I'm going to keep an eye on that Hertfordshire. Reformer up to 4 seats. Labour down 4 seats. So Reformer making gains on Northumberland Council. Declaration for North Tyneside Mayor expected around 1:30. I'm not sure we'll make that. But 23 councils to declare. In fact, do you know what? Let me just have a look at this. It's interesting. I thought we would... right, we've been going 3 hours, so I'm going to wrap up. I thought we would have been getting more results through early doors, which is a bit of a disappointment. I say, Terry Wuckfit. Followers of certain religions buy from vendors who also follow the same religion and get VAT exemptions. Oh, nearly 20%. It's a shame that none of the results have come through as quickly as I would have liked. But I hope the information I've given you this evening has been of some value to you. As I say, this channel is about cutting through the fog of war, the confusion, the chaos, because that's what they want you to be, confused and chaotic. And now that you've seen the Priven strategy, sorry, I am getting tired now, the Clyward Piven strategy, what I will do is I'll make another video or edit this if I can in the morning, and I will put the 8 points in the description so that you have it as ready to hand. I don't think anybody has got that. I don't think anybody is talking about that, but it'll be interesting to see how many of the other bloody YouTubers have A, the intelligence to see through it, and B, have the kahunas to do it, knowing that they've nicked it off this channel. Tarts. I will say, so Northumberland counting changed since 2021, up 5 seats, Labour down 5 seats, Conservative haven't got a single one. The turnout in Runcorn and Helsby by-election is 46%. Now, for local elections, that's very good. You barely get 20-odd for a general election. Reform sitting with 6 seats, Conservative with 1, Labour with none. So it looks like it's going to start ramping up about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. I just hope that you've enjoyed the live this evening. We normally do them general elections. We'll do them for the local elections. English bottle cap. Is the swingometer broken? At my age, I'm lucky to get it going. Stuart says, enjoyed tonight, Rev. Cheers. Thank you. Stuart, I'll rewatch tomorrow. Great evening, Adrian, from the U-Bovril. I think I'll try and get that video up as quickly as I can in the morning. So then you can kind of rewatch it complete, because it was quite a long explanation of that, and I do hope it's of some value to you. So thank you for your likes. How many we got? Only 109. Bloody hell, tough audience. So smash the likes on the way out if you can, please. I really would appreciate it. Thank you for your subscriptions. And actually, I looked at my subscriptions on YouTube. Professor Tim Wilson, And I've always, since the beginning of this channel, been subscribed to his channel. And I wasn't when I looked today. So YouTube must have kicked me off Professor Tim Wilson's channel. And I'm going to contact him because he made a very, very, very good Alex Belfield video. Very, very good video about Alex. It was measured. It was insightful. And if any of Professor Tim's friends or even Professor Tim himself sees this, the work around that video was superb, sir. Absolutely superb. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. We needed a bigger Battenberg. We'll have more Battenberg and more insight and more clarity from the away from the chaos and the confusion. Sunday, 8 p.m, another live. Oh, hang on a second. Let me just, it says 109, Amalia, here. Did somebody say it says 112? Oh, 122 now, bloody hell. Thanks for the clarity, Adrian. Trying to put it together, but that was really helpful, says Luke. Terry Wookford, YouTube has a redundancy policy. If you don't comment on vids in so many months, your subscription ceases. Really? Do you know, I never knew that. That's obviously why I lose subs, because people are not commenting or not commenting on my videos. Need to get more videos up. We need a bigger Battenberg. So be well. I hope good health, and let's see what the political landscape looks like tomorrow, because I think it's going to be blood up the walls, a day of long knives. And I'm hoping beyond hope that the Labour Party can see that Sir Keir Starmer is toxic. They need to get rid of him. I'm not quite sure who they'll put in, but Yvette Cooper, 11-1 from the bookies, is not a bad shout. Well, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. You can look at the odds and make your own decision, but I'm thinking about putting a tenner on. That'll be a nice round of drinks with the lads at the pub. So be well. Thank you for tonight. Really enjoyed it. Sleep well tonight. Don't have nightmares. It's only politics. And I'll see you at some point in the morning. Thank you for being there tonight. Love doing it for you. Thank you.